Hello, everybody. Welcome to the canning party. We've
Hello.
got pretty much the same panel as last week, except this week we're joined by a special guest. Everybody knows Alaska Prepper. How you
Hello,
doing, Reed?
everyone. And hello, Ghost. Hello, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
As
Yeah,
as soon as you told me that you were making Ghee today, I'm like, I'm in.
yeah. I know I watched a lot of your videos, and you got really excited on the ghee one. I watched it several times, so and that's why I told the everybody on the panel and the people in the chat. The recipe I was going to do was your recipe because that's just to me it just seemed like the simplest one to follow. It was really pretty easy.
Yes, it is. It's very easy. You just need a little bit of patience, is all. And after you had emailed me last, I told you that I've converted from pressure canning my ghee to not pressure canning it because I found that it lasts just as long
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with doing it. And it's actually how it used to be done when it was first invented. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if you know what the history of ghee is, but it was invented in India because they had very hot temperatures there, and they
Mhm.
were looking for a fat source that they can actually keep in high temperatures that would not spoil. And I don't know how they invented ghee, but they did, and it worked for
Isn't
them.
that weird how people invent stuff like that? I mean, where would you even get the idea? I mean, you're on a camel and you're riding through the desert, and you look at your buddy Ahmed, and you go, "Hey, you know what? I bet if we like boiled some butter like really really slow, and then it would like last forever." And he went, "That's a really good idea. Let's do that. Let's go milk a goat and start this thing." And I'm like,
Well,
I mean,
I'm just glad they invented it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's crazy
Imagine they
too the
figured
price
out
difference.
quickly that the fats that come to the top spoil because India is really hot. So I imagine they figured it out real fast that that's what made butter go bad.
Mm.
Yeah, more likely, yes.
Hmm.
Emily, can you hear us? Okay,
I
cool. That's
can.
that's Emily L. She's my channel manager, moderator. She's the boss. So I just kind
Nice.
of, he says, I figured if I'm having my back turned and I'll be at the stove for a little while, if there's any questions in the chat, she can kind of field them and yell them out loud so I can try to do two things at once. So, hey,
Well,
Homestead Off.
I see some familiar faces out there in the chats. It's good
Homestead
to
Yeah.
see
Off.
everyone. Thank you very much. There's Lynn from Homestead Off.
She's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in today.
Hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, I see several, I see quite a few new names that I haven't seen before. So I'm very positive they came over from AP. Yeah, Devils did. Thank you guys so much for coming over and joining us. Tonight, we are going to do our best not to burn butter on the stove. We're going to try to make some ghee using Alaska Prepper's recipe. Um, and so, if you guys are ready, we can get started.
Yep. I'm gonna move to the kitchen.
Okay.
Wait, Ghost, let me go ahead and pop in real quick.
Yeah.
The method in which I use to make my ghee, I don't want to claim ownership over that method. It's just a a method that's been that stood the test of time.
Right. Yeah. That's
So
the main reason I reached out to you is because I didn't want to make a video and have people think that, oh, this is the way I do it. I want to
no, yeah, yeah,
which way Rudy does it.
absolutely. Whatever you can do to spread the word to someone else, I could care less. Whether I said it or not, it doesn't matter. All that
Right.
really matters is that we get people to try these things. I've often said that if you don't know how to do something, at least do it one time. And after that, if you don't want to do it again, that's fine. But if you ever find yourself in a position where you need to do it, then you at least have the confidence to do it,
Right.
in a situation where maybe you may need to do it. So it's always good to try it at least one time, gain the confidence that you can do it right. That way, later on, if you have to rely on that skill, you know that you have it.
Right. And I mean, a cool thing about when I got into the prepping and food preservation thing too is what it's a lot of work and it's intimidating to do it the first time, especially pressure canning. But what I found out is if you sit down with a piece of paper and you do numbers on what you're paying food,
Yep.
buying it, a week at a time versus buying it a month in advance and getting it and stocking it. I mean, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I mean, a can of ghee at Walmart,
Yeah.
is like what, $6? It's like even my bone broth that I can at Walmart, it's like $6 for a quart. But you get,
Yeah.
I mean, I made 16 free quarts that I put into my chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, I just came from Costco, and they have I think it's a 54-ounce jar of ghee over there for $25. And I mean, 54 ounces is what, about 4.5 pounds.
Yeah.
So you can pick yourself up 4 pounds of butter for $9 at Costco, and all it requires is a little bit of your time and patience. And look at that, you're going to have a product that's more than likely better than what you would have paid 3 times more for.
Mm-hmm.
And I've often said that if you find something that makes sense to purchase, then buy it. Don't just pressure can to pressure can. For example, I love the beef in the can that Costco sells.
Right.
And for me, it makes sense to pick up some of those cans of beef because it's actually less expensive for me to buy it that way than it would be for me to buy the beef, cut it, put it in jars, and then go ahead and pressure can them. So if it makes sense to buy it, by all means, buy it.
Oh, yeah.
But most things, it makes sense to pressure can it yourself because you get to save money. It gives you the availability of being able to buy things on sale, put them in the freezer, and then once you have enough to make a batch, you can take it all out and then go ahead and do it instead of buying everything at full price in one shot. So that's another thing that's good about pressure canning yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do too. It's like when I go to the grocery store, I'll see the breast chicken on sale, and I'll get 2 or 3 packages, and I'll put them in the fridge or freezer, and I'll do it for the next week or so or 2 weeks until I get like 30 pounds of chicken. Then I make a big old chicken and chicken broth.
That's the way to do it. Yep.
When I look at my food storage, that's like looking at my bank statement for a checking account. I mean, that's like our savings account.
Absolutely, it's better. It's better.
Yeah, it's like I tell everybody, the price of food's only going to go up. It's never going to go down. Yeah,
I challenged everyone on one of my previous videos. I said, go to your pantry, pick out 10 items, and hopefully you remember what you paid for them when you bought them, and then go ahead and match and see how much it costs now. And what I meant was pick out 10 items that you bought like a year ago. Right. Go ahead and match it to what it costs now, and you'll see that the returns that you get on those items that you purchased as far as nominal price goes is higher than what you would get probably in the stock market.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I know especially things, in this past year and a half, things like ground beef, I mean, went through the roof. Any kind of meat went through the price of meat. It's like, wow. And that's not even a huge, that's not the jump that I was expecting. I'm expecting worse,
Oh, yeah, this is just the beginning. This is just the pregame right now that we're going through. So in my opinion, that is. In my opinion.
I think you're right. It's almost like a warm up, to the big show. It's going to be something. Well, let's see here. I guess we can turn the heat to the butter. Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, I'm pretty confident Rudy doesn't mind yelling at y'all's questions or whatever. But I'm going to be using the way that he did it, his method. We're just basically going to be heating the butter, really slow, really low. Melting it, and then once we get it melted, we're just going to keep it at a simmer, keep stirring it and moving it around, and then eventually, as you'll see the bubbles on the top almost not coagulate, but they'll almost start. It'll be the milk solids, and they'll eventually settle to the bottom. Correct? Am I right so far?
You're right.
And then once that starts to happen, you want to keep stirring it, but you don't want to scrape the bottom because then
that's right.
Then you got to start the process all over again. So you want to just keep moving. Once they start to settle out, you just want to keep stirring, but not hit the bottom until it pretty much goes really clear, almost like opaque. It looks like almost like a watered down honey in a clear jar. That's what your pot reminded me of when we were stirring it. And so we're gonna get that.
Are we all in agreement? We're not pressure canning.
I put it on I don't think I want to. Yeah, you guys, we're not going to pressure can. We're going to do it the original way because Alaska here's Matt. You want to say it again for everybody in the chat, Rudy?
Well, I found the very first batch of ghee that I processed was, I believe it was 2013, the very first batch, and I pressure canned that because I was just beginning, and I really wanted to be extra safe. Now I'm still using that batch. I think I have like 2 jars left of that batch that I first canned. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. However, since then, I looked into it a little bit more, and I found that you don't necessarily need to pressure can it, that as long as you pour your ghee into your jars and then immediately put the lid on it and tighten the lid tight when you put on the ring, that it will create its own seal. And since there is no bacteria or anything like that in your jars, then it should be fine. Now, the one thing that you want to do when you're not pressure canning is you want to make sure that those jars that you have are very sanitized. So what I like to do is I like to just make sure to rinse them out with soap and water. Then I take them and I put them in the oven at about 200 degrees for 20 minutes or so. And then I fill them up with the ghee while they are still very hot. You don't really want to put a very hot liquid in a cold jar because the possibility of it cracking, is the probability is very high that it will crack if you introduce a very hot liquid into a cold jar. So while the jars are still nice and hot out of the oven, you go ahead and put your ghee in there. Make sure that you clean off your rims, get your little bit of vinegar to make sure that it's squeaky clean. Put on your lid and your rings and tighten it tight. You're not going to tighten it like finger tight like you normally do when you're going to pressure can, but you're going to tighten it pretty nice and snug.
Okay. Well, ladies on the panel up here, since not pressure canning it is an option, you guys just want to go ahead and throw your jars in the oven and let them heat for 20 minutes, and let's do it this way.
I already had mine in that.
She's already ready.
Yeah, because I quit doing the heating up the jars thing when I pressure can because that's a sterilization.
Right.
process.
Yeah. You don't have to be as picky as far as cleaning your jars when you pressure can, because you're going to kill everything anyways.
Gotcha.
I started heating them up because I figured if I was putting hot ghee in a jar,
Absolutely.
I want to.
Good call.
Hi, by the way. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Milkmaid. And look at that. Virginia Roots already has her butter halfway melted. Isn't that a pretty sight? I love butter.
It's beautiful. I love butter too. I asked for butter for my birthday last month, and my family got me 20 pounds of butter. So I'm going to use
That is
about
awesome.
8 right
That is
now.
awesome.
Heck yes.
Gotta love that butter.
Stream last week, Alaska?
What's that?
Did you catch our stream last week with the beans?
No, I did not.
It's fun.
I think last week, I don't know. I'm usually doing a live on someone else's channel once or twice a week. So I forget what channels I've visited here and there.
Rudy,
Yes.
Cashew would like to know if you use unsalted or salted butter.
In my opinion, using unsalted is best because when you use salted butter, all you're going to do during the process is burn that salt out anyways.
Mhm.
So using unsalted is best. However, if you use salted butter, it's not going to hurt anything. It will eventually burn out to the bottom along with all the other solids.
Okay.
Yeah, I went with salted because they had it on sale in the 2-packs. I'm like, salted it is.
Hey, it won't hurt anything. It won't hurt anything. In the end, I don't believe that it really makes any difference as far as the flavor, whether you use salted or not, because really, if you do it properly, what you're going to end up with is nothing but the fat from the milk or from the butter. That's it. So you're not going to be able to taste any of that other stuff that actually burned out of it.
Mhm. I went with unsalted. That's what I got for my birthday, so that's what's in the pot.
Hey, there you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Virginia, how many pounds of butter are you doing?
I have 6 pints, so I went ahead and put 7 pounds in the pot just in case some of the water burns off.
Yeah, you're going to have about, I would say, between 5 and 10% of loss. So you're going to lose about between 5 to 10%. I found that 1 pound of butter fills a pint jar exactly where it needs to go, giving you that little 3/4 of an inch or an inch.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 pint loses just enough so that you can fill, 1 pound loses just enough so that you can fill a pint right up to the rim line or the neck. I like to call it the neck right before where it starts. So.
Right. Yeah, I remember that one of your videos making ghee, you correct me if I'm wrong, you did salted and unsalted together, mixed them together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was like, they're unsalted, and I saw your video, and I'm like, both of them. Yeah, because I mean, when people the salt added to butter, that's just a preservation thing for the shelf life at the supermarket and stuff, isn't it?
No, it's just a flavor thing. It's just for flavoring.
Because I really can't tell the difference in salted or unsalted butter.
Oh, really?
But then
I can. Well,
then
go.
again,
That's because you don't love butter as much as I do. I could tell you the difference right away.
I don't eat it like raw. Mine just gets in with food when I cook. I don't eat a lot of butter. I use it like when I'm preparing and stuff. But it flavors it, but I get the butter flavor. I don't get it like a big salt difference to it. I don't know. Weird.
Well, here in the, I'm sorry, I was going to say here in the Alaska Prepper household, we have salt that we use for baking and cooking, and then butter that we use for baking and cooking, and then we have butter that we use for spreading or putting on top of potatoes or stuff like that, because we need to have the good butter to put on our toast. And do you guys have time for a funny story?
Go ahead. We got all night.
Okay, so you're gonna love this. It has to do with ghee, okay? So this was months ago. I don't even remember when. It was during the winter last year, during the winter. So my daughter cooked some pancakes for breakfast. First time she ever did it. And I'm sitting on my couch over here in the living room, and I'm eating some, and I'm thinking to myself, man, these are the best pancakes that I've ever had. And I meant it. I'm like, these things are delicious. So I asked her, I said, did you make these from scratch? And she said, no. And I'm like, are these the ones that we get from Costco? You know, I always forget the name. It starts with a K, that blue bag. And she said, yeah. And I'm like, did you do anything to it besides just take it out of the package and mix it up with water? And she says, I just followed the instructions. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I must be doing something wrong when I make them, because these are the best I've ever had. So I just let it go. I finished eating my pancakes. That was that. The next morning, I came down to the kitchen and I was going to make breakfast. You know, I was going to make some eggs and bacon and toast. And I like to fry my eggs in ghee. Well, the day prior to that, the morning prior to that, I had put a brand new jar of ghee on the counter. So when I went to grab the ghee to fry my eggs, I noticed that about 3/4 of that jar was missing. So I asked Little Miss Alaska Prepper, did you use ghee yesterday to make the pancakes? And she said, yeah. I'm like, did you use this much? She used like 3/4 of a jar of ghee. And that's why those darn pancakes were so delicious.
I bet they were the best.
They were so good.
So tell me, you've adjusted your recipe on making pancakes, haven't you? You started to put a little bit more ghee in there.
No, I just let her make them because it kills me to use that much ghee. She doesn't mind.
That's a good idea. Right back.
Okay, I have a question, Alaska Prepper. Now that all of my sticks are melted, should I just not stir this whatsoever at all?
No, you want to stir it. You want to continue to stir it. And,
okay.
Normally what I do at this point is I bring the temperature up some and allow it to get to a simmer. And then once it gets to a simmer, then I lower the temperature enough to keep it at a simmer. That's normally what I do at this point. And you can continue to stir it until you see that the butter starts to get clarified a little bit. Normally, by the time that the butter, or right before the butter is starting to get really clarified, you'll see some foam on the top of your pot. And then the foam starts to actually dissolve into the butter, into the fat. Usually by that time is when you want to stop stirring it, because that means that most of the solids have already started to drop down to the bottom. So you want to allow them that time without stirring them to actually drop down to the bottom. And at this point, you really want to make sure that you don't have a real high temperature and that you just have a very light simmer. Because if you have too high of a temperature, as those solids are dropping, they can burn a little bit, which, like I said before, it's nothing wrong with it. It'll just give your ghee a darker color and more of a nutty flavor the darker it gets.
Roger that.
Now that all the solids that form on the bottom at the end, a lot of people were saying the different things that they do with that, the different ways to use it in cooking. What do you do with it? Anything?
Well, they go great with some mashed potatoes or
Oh, if they
or
would.
potato. You can use them to just use them as a little bit of fat, or I mean, really, you can put them into whatever you want. I mean, they have a lot of concentrated flavor in there, so they go great. And I know that people are going to get on me for this, but I've been known to share some of that with my puppies as well, and they like it. They like it a lot.
And when you said with mashed potatoes, I'm like, man, I was just thinking, I bet that would taste really, really good. Or like on like
Yeah.
a baked potato with some sour cream. Ooh,
That's what I was thinking.
Yep. The thing is, though, that if you make your ghee with the salted butter, it's going to be very salty. Okay, so just remember that it'll be very salty. The first time that I made ghee, I used salted butter, and I went ahead and took some of that and put it like on toast, and it was really salty because, as you can imagine, most of the salt or all of the salt has dissolved down to the bottom. So you're gonna get that when you scrape it.
That's a very good point. That'd be pretty intense.
But you can also take some of that and mix it with a little bit of garlic powder and make yourself some garlic bread on pizza night or something, or spaghetti night.
Oh, that's Oops.
Let me take a look at who's in the chats over here. Hey, Gardner Josh, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Tigger 454. How you doing, Tigger? I'm not gonna do the same thing I do on my channel here, Ghost, because I know that a lot of people hate it. The first 5 minutes of every one of my live streams, what I'm doing is saying hello. I could just imagine being someone that's never been to my channel before, and they click on a live stream and they're like, "Is that all this guy does all live stream long? Is say hello to people?"
How many people are in this guy's chat? He's like, it's 17 minutes and he's still saying hello and good morning.
Yeah.
I love it, Rudy, because it makes people feel special. Like
Well,
you called out my name before, and I was like, "Oh, he saw my comment."
Yes. And I've often said that I don't like to talk at people. I like to talk with people. So, like right now, I'm talking to you all, and it's like you are here. I want to talk to you like if you were here, right? So we can have a conversation, and so that people in general are not afraid of asking questions and exposing what they may think are some of their weaknesses, because that's what the chat section is for. It's so that we can, exchange information with each other and help each other out. So it's important to me that people feel welcome, into our community, and that they're not afraid of asking questions.
And you could legitimately do a live stream once a week, and you could go online probably for an hour, and all you would have to do is say hello to people in the chat, and then just say, "All right, thanks for joining me." Like you could do a stream just saying hello to everybody.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. That'd be mean.
And of course, have Victor pop by and say hi.
Okay, I will. Victor's actually out right now. Oh yeah, he's working by now. He's starting to work here now.
I like his new haircut.
Well, some people love Victor and some people don't.
You guys, Lady Hammer saying, "I'm here." I guess we adjusted the recipe. We didn't really adjust the recipe. We're just not canning it.
It's like a non-canning video.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Don't be afraid of it. Yeah, don't be afraid of it. I actually have the last batch of ghee that I processed without pressure canning it. It's in my pantry. I actually just gave away a pint to my old boss's wife a few days ago, and it's perfect. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's been at least a good 6 months.
Yeah, when you told me that, I did a little bit more research, and there are more people out there that do ghee that don't pressure can it.
Yeah,
and do. Yes, we're still canning it. We're just not canning it under pressure.
Right.
Well, see, I before, like I keep a jar like right by the stove.
Yep, I do too.
But I had never pressure canned it, and I was intrigued.
That's fine, yeah.
Maybe it keeps longer, but I'm fine with skipping a pressure canning step.
Yeah, it's not a necessary step, I found. And you have to think about keeping your ghee right next to the stove and it doesn't go bad. Just think about this. If you take olive oil or corn oil, whatever oil you use, And I usually keep a bottle of it right next to my stove. You know, I have an oil bottle that I put oil in, and that's what I use until it goes empty, and then I refill it. That oil doesn't go bad, so there's no reason why your ghee would as well.
Right. I try not to re-dip the spoon because I know you can introduce bacteria
That's a
that way.
great point. Great point. Never, ever double dip into your ghee jar. And whenever you do get ghee out of there, make sure that the utensil that you're using is very clean. You don't want to really introduce any bacteria in there, because if you introduce bacteria in there after you've opened it, you have to remember that you're allowing fresh air to get in there, and whatever food there might be in that air for that bacteria is going to start growing. So just make sure you use a clean utensil every time that you dip into your ghee, and of course, never double dip. Unless you're dipping cheese sticks into marinara sauce, that is. And then that's your business, whether you do or don't.
Alaska pepper, you said 20 minutes after it comes to simmer, right?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
20 minutes after it comes to a simmer?
Well, you don't have to worry about time.
Okay.
Right? Once it comes to a simmer and the foam that's on top of it dissolves, the foam will dissolve on its own. You may have a little bit of a few stragglers on the rim of your pot, but the foam will dissolve on its own as long as you keep it on a simmer. Once the foam dissolves on its own, this is when you don't want to stir it anymore. This is when you want to let it complete the process by itself, because as the solids are burning off and falling to the bottom, you don't really want to stir it around and stir those solids all the way back up to the top. It's not going to hurt anything. It'll just make the process longer. That's all.
You know, I heard from when I was first learning this, I was looking into it, and I heard that when it starts bubbling and the foam starts dissolving, you'll get those larger bubbles. When you're getting those larger bubbles, it means most of the moisture has evaporated. Thoughts? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it could be. Just be careful. Just try to do everything you can to keep it at a simmer. And you know what? You know what? That's funny that you say that. I've never really noticed that, but looking back to the last time that I did that, you're right. You do get bigger bubbles coming up towards the end of the process of burning off the solids and the water. Yeah, good point.
Okay. That was just something I'd heard, and I noticed it when I made ghee. I did burn ghee once.
Oh, Ghost, you're on twice over here. We got two ghosts over here.
Double ghosts. Ghost famous here.
Milkmaid, did you say that you burned ghee once?
Okay. I didn't throw it out though, because it just had a strong flavor, like a burnt butter flavor, and
it had a strong flavor, right? Yeah. You see, some people like that flavor. I kind of like it a little bit on the darker side than what you see me do on my videos. But I like it any way it comes out, tell you the truth. Yeah. You'll never catch me throwing away any ghee.
It's all good. I love my butter.
Oh, there's what Ghost was trying to do. He's still working his butter. Ghost is falling behind.
Oh yeah.
I kind of heated mine up fast to begin with, but I didn't burn it. I just kind of.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, you're just heating it up fast. Yeah.
Milkmaid didn't want to get left behind this time.
It's true. My canner is so big that it took forever to come up to pressure and steam.
Oh, what were you doing last week? Beans?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And that's another thing. That's another one. That's another big money saver as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't know how many pints of beans can you get out of 1 pound? Probably like 4 or 5 pints out of 1 pound. What is it? About a quarter cup per pint of the dry beans that you put in there. Yeah, Ghost, we can't hear you.
Africa. Is that better?
That's good. We can hear you now. But yeah, that's a big money saver. As long as you do it, I think it's a money saver as long as you do it by the quart size. Because what a lot of people forget is that those lids cost about 30 cents a piece. So, you have to make sure that you adjust the price of what it's costing you than what it would cost you to buy it. make sure that you have that lid included. You know, the price for the fuel that you're using is very minimal. You know, even though you're canning for an hour and a half, 2 hours, it's really not that much that you're paying for the fuel. But those lids are kind of pricey and not very easy to find at certain times.
Yeah, that's my issue right now. I keep trying to, you know, that Amish supply store.
Yeah.
They have a lot of kind of off-grid, and they supply the Amish. But they used to sell sleeves, like bulk sleeves of canning lids, and I keep looking, and they've been sold out for.
Before all of this stuff started happening I think it was February or something of 2020, I actually found a sale on lids at Fred Meyer's, and I ended up buying like 50 packs. Nice. And I actually did a payday prep, you know, about it, and come to know a month, 2 months later, everybody was scavenging around for lids, and I'm here sitting on, you know, a whole bunch of lids.
Yeah, like the same.
Some people, when they see this video, they'll be like, "Oh, you were hoarding."
Hey, I've heard the same thing.
But I've got lids.
About 6 to 8 months before all this craziness started last year, for some strange reason, I decided to really pick up my candy. So every single time I went to the store, I would get 2 cases of jars and like 5 or 6 packs of the lids. Every single week, I was getting, you know, 3 cases, and a couple hundred lids. And then when all this stuff went crazy and you couldn't find any, I'm looking at my storeroom and I'm looking around and I'm like, I'm rich. Yeah. The price of jars went from $13 a case to $150 on eBay.
Yeah, for a little bit, yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I did the same thing. When all of that stuff started, I was already sitting on about 25 or 30 cases of jars, you know, and a whole bunch of lids. And it's like you said, it wasn't me going and picking it up all at once, 30 cases of jars. It was me getting 2 here, 5 here. If I caught them on sale, I might get another 6 or so. You know, that's how I got them. And of course, I caught that sale on lids, and I couldn't resist but to stock up on them. And I'm really glad that I did, because now I don't have to worry about lids or jars for a good while.
Yeah. And then now that they've just now come back into the stores and everybody's trying to get them, it's like if I go into the store and they've got, you know, 20 or 30 cases on the shelf, I'll get a case or 2 cases. But there's been times when I go there and there's only 6, and I'm like, I'm good. Other people probably aren't, so I'm not going to get any jars.
Yeah. Slow and steady. That's all. That's what it's all about. Slow and steady. You don't have to go crazy on anything, and you always want to make sure that you keep what I like to call a little bit of dry powder on the side. You know, which means a little bit of reserves and money. That way, if you do run into some kind of awesome sale, you have no problem with going ahead and getting that. You know, instead of spending all your money just on one thing because you found it. So yeah. I mean, it works different for different people, but, you know, I always stick to slow and steady wins the race. Just take your time building up your stockpile and diversify the things that you get. Don't just get everything in the order that you have them checklist. So if you have 1 through 10, don't get all of the 1s right away. If you can get 3 times as many as the 4s, because they're on a good sale, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's looking really nice.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is. That's looking really good.
So last week when we did the beans, you know, I come prepared, had all my stuff done. I was ahead of the ladies and had to wait. So this week I'm like, well, I'll just start cold like they do, and that way we'll all start from nothing. Now I show up and I look like the kid that's late for class.
Well, it looks like they had a head start on you, Ghost.
I know, right?
Yep.
Well, it didn't help that I spent the first 15 minutes of this live stream talking and forgot to turn the stove on. That's probably
that ghee, Virginia's ghee is looking nice. Look at that.
You should have seen her last week.
There you go.
Last week was the first time she ever used a pressure canner, and she's got the very first American pressure canner ever produced off the assembly line. This thing is
awesome. That's great.
She had to order parts to get it to work. She had to order parts and get it and replace a bunch of parts. So she went with us live, and as she's sealing it up, the lid wasn't quite straight. So as it's coming up pressure, it's blowing steam out the side. She's like, I'm gonna fix this. I'll be back on later. So she went dark, and everybody's worried about her. You know, she took it back down to pressure. She dropped it all the way back down, opened it up, fixed it, put it back on, got the pressure back going again, and canned her beans.
Good.
You want to know something funny? I actually found what model it is. Yesterday or the day before, someone gave me a really great tip to scrub the outside of the canner with onion and salt in order to get some of the char that I had established with the propane burner. And so, by the way, it worked like a dream. Well, I had to turn the canner over in order to scrub the bottom. And on the bottom, it says number 7. That's it. NO7.
Really?
Like it's probably
Might not be number 1, but it might be 007.
pretty old. Show him the canner. Show
What's
the
that?
canner. Show the
Okay,
canner.
hold on.
This thing's old. Hey, Pinball. Pinball Preparedness has joined us.
Pinball in the house. Look at that. What's up, Pinball?
Aw.
Hey, Teresa's in the house, and Emily. JT made it. Good to see you. Who else is here? Hawkeye is in the house as well. How you doing, Hawkeye?
I know one thing. It sure does smell good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm in the lobby of a Red
Oh,
Lobster.
yeah,
right
that's
now.
a nice old one, huh? Very nice.
Yeah,
I was going to say, don't be moving that ghee on my account.
it's very old. I had to replace the gauge,
The gauge.
the petcock, and I bought the weight.
Yeah.
And if you look at the bottom, I don't know if you'll be able to see, probably not. I can't get it closer with the ghee in the way, but it says number 7 on the bottom.
Well, you ought to call the company and ask them what that means. Oh, I think I was able to see it when you pulled back there.
Oh, yeah. I see the words now. Yeah, number 7. Boom.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
15 and a half. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that fun?
Like,
I love her.
That is a well-used canner right there. You can tell it's got a lot of experience.
Yeah, it's the Flintstone of canners. It's very wise.
I mean, that's a testament to what good workmanship goes into an All-American, really.
Yep.
the first time I saw an All-American canner versus a Presto, and I've never used a Presto. I'm actually going to get one, and I'm going to do a canning comparison with different things and do them at the same time to see which one heats up faster, which one cools down faster, or gets the pressure faster. But the first time I saw an All-American, I'm like, that reminds me of a torpedo launcher in a submarine. You know, in the movie.
Oh, yeah, when you put the doors on.
I mean, this thing, it's built to last.
Yep, it is.
And then when I picked it up the first time, I mean, it's literally almost a two-handed job. Those things are no joke.
Well, I think that Virginia's ahead of the pack here.
Yeah, she's looking pretty far ahead.
How's yours doing, Milkmaid? And Jess?
We've got foam.
Are you all simmering yet?
It is. And you know what's interesting? I've never done much ghee before. I've only done like a pound or two at a time.
Yeah, that's it's a lot nicer when you do 1 pound at a time. It only takes about 15 minutes, if that.
But I'm noticing, like, if I just, because once it gets kind of warm or hotter, I tend to just kind of draw the foam away to see what the solids are doing at the bottom.
Sure.
But sometimes when I do that, all of a sudden there's this bloop, bloop, you know?
Well, when you know that you're about halfway through the process, you'll notice that there's no more steam coming out of the pot.
Oh, that's true.
Once there's no more steam coming out, it means that the water's been evaporated out of or cooked out of the butter.
Yeah, I don't have much film left on the top of mine at all.
Oh, is yours simmering?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Then you're almost there.
I wonder if I should turn it up. I just, after burning it that one time, I get a little gun shy.
As long as it's not more than a simmer, you should be okay. As long as you're not going more than a simmer. But it doesn't hurt to do it slowly either. You know, if you want to do it slowly and you've got the time, that's not going to hurt. That's just going to give you the product that you really want.
Yeah. My butter's still melting.
Nope, I'm gonna leave you behind because my butter's still melting too.
Are the fur lids as good as the ball lids? Wild Nesting wants to know.
What was the question?
I don't know.
Are the Purr lids, the Purr brand lids, are they as good as the ball lids? She said that's the only thing they can get now.
I've never
is
used
the
Kerr.
Purr.
All I've ever used is Ball.
I've used Kerr before, and I didn't notice any difference in either or.
That's what I've heard from everybody. They're pretty much similar.
Now you see Virginia's ghee right there. You see how it's simmering very lightly. That's perfect. You can leave that just like that, and you don't even have to stir it right now. You just leave it right there. And here, as soon as you see the steam not coming up from it anymore, that's when you'll see that foam on the top start to break down and start to fall into the butter and down into the bottom of the pot. So that right there is perfect. It's a nice slow simmer, and it's not going to burn your butter because you have it at a nice temperature right there. But that looks really good.
Roger that. Thank you.
And obviously, you all know that this is not something you want to do with your children around.
Right.
It would be dangerous. What do you have over there, Virginia? Is that some ugly chicken?
No, actually, last night I canned some potatoes because
Oh, okay.
to get it totally right. So let me show you guys.
What'd you say? You didn't get it totally right?
Well, when we did the canning party last Saturday, it was a nail biter, so I've been practicing. The next day I did more beans, and last night I did some potatoes just for fun. So here's the beans that I did the day after the canning party, and then these potatoes I did last night. There you are. These potatoes I did last night. I labeled them here. These are the Kerr lids. They are not ball. I labeled them with painter's tape because this kind of tape doesn't leave a residue. I threw in carrots because I had some carrots in the fridge that just needed something to go into, so I just threw them in there. And there they are. I did that at like midnight last night.
Well, that looks really good. They look really good.
Thank you.
Did you see that? Someone said that PAEMT says that the number 7 All-American pressure canner is more than likely from the 1920s. That's awesome.
It's 100 years old. Heck yes.
100 years old. Isn't that something?
I'm representing. I'm okay with it.
Nice. Virginia, you got bit by the cannon bug, didn't you?
Well,
hey, your butter's melting over.
Oh, crap.
You can go ahead. You can leave it on there. Just stir it. You can leave it on the fire. Just stir it.
I'm always the beta test. You guys know how it is.
Well, that's our fault for taking you away from your butter. That's our fault for taking your attention today.
Everything's good. Crisis averted. I'm a professional.
Just don't panic and make sure you have some baking soda nearby.
Yes, I do. Plenty. Here we go.
There you go. Good.
Just a tip for everybody too. If you use a wooden spoon and put it on top of your pot, it won't boil over.
Oh, good idea.
Oh, awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a cool trick.
Yes.
Yeah, I do that with anything. Yeah, and it works. Now, unless you have it like set on super high and you're just a maniac, it will eventually.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. That's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah,
if you don't mind it, it really could be a dangerous thing because you get that butter over that pot and it hits the flame. It could just be a bad day for someone if they don't keep their eyes on it.
Y'all want me to try to bring my laptop over here and show you?
Yes.
Sure.
I didn't clean my stove, okay? So y'all just pretend that you're like my really good friends and you don't care. See? Can you all see?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Oh my goodness, Milkmaid, how can you cook in a stove like that? No, that's looking really good too. That's very nice.
Watch this. When I go like
Oh, very nice. Yes.
they're like,
You see that bad boy right there is about getting ready to get rid of the foam.
yeah, I'm starting to notice the bubbles are getting a little
Yeah,
bit.
that looks really good. Man, I'm excited for you guys. It's not even my ghee, and I'm excited.
That looks
Well, we do.
awesome.
We're doing this every Saturday until people get tired of it. So we're gonna start just canning. You know, everybody's just gonna throw in a request, and we'll just can something. If you can make it cool, if you can't, cool. If you're doing it, do it later. I mean, I was gonna just do like the normal canning videos and video myself canning something, and I was like, and then there were several people in the chat. They're like, I've got the canner and I've got all the stuff, but I'm scared to do it. And I'm like, why don't we just do it together? Just go live and get you a glass of wine or whatever you want to do, and we'll just go live and we'll can together. And if we mess up, we mess up. If we learn stuff, we learn stuff. So, and people seem to like it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
What was so awesome?
Hog wants to know, what is the purpose of transforming butter to ghee?
Long-term preservation, and it's gonna. I mean, what is it? 20, 30 year shelf life on ghee?
Well, I don't have the oldest ghee that I have is almost 9 years old, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. However, if you were to ask me, I would say that I would feel comfortable with keeping some of my ghee for 20 years and using it with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
However, ghee is one of those things, however, that is, if you use it, it's very easy to rotate.
Yeah.
Lady Hammer's asking, so the ghee is stored in the pantry? Yes.
You can. I mean, you can store your ghee anywhere you want. However, if you're going to store it for long-term storage, it's always a good practice to store it in a cool, dry place that doesn't get too hot or too cold. Even though ghee will outlast that temperature range, why not store it properly anyways? It's only going to give you more security that, or insurance that your ghee is going to be good. However, like I said, I would have absolutely no problem with leaving my ghee in my pantry, in my cupboards for a year and using it, whether it gets hot or cold or whatever. It's going to be good.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know some people's pantries are already cooled down, so that's why I said that. So that's a good point that you made, because I know some people don't have that capability in their pantry.
Yeah, like my main reason for doing going down the ghee road and wanting to store, a lot of ghee is because I'm starting up my rabbitry. I've got several meat rabbits outside, and there's no fat, cholesterol, or anything in rabbit meat. So cooking it, with ghee or in ghee is going to really help me, get that fat content that you need.
Yeah, and I mean, I would say my second best or my second favorite long-term oil or fat to store would be coconut oil. Coconut oil will literally last indefinitely. All you have to you just make sure that you keep that lid on there, and the same rules apply when it comes to your ghee. Make sure that you only use very clean utensils to get your coconut out of there. I have a 5-gallon bucket of coconut oil that I purchased. I think it was back in 2010 or 11, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that coconut oil. Nothing wrong with it at all. And there have been instances where the inside of the container wasn't 100% clean, and not in my case, but I've read about it and seen some people show it on videos where the coconut oil actually got contaminated with some bacteria. But it's very easy to detect what part of the coconut oil is bad whenever that happens, because what you see is little black streaks, little black lines. And anything that doesn't have any of that black line in it means that it doesn't have any bacteria in it. So in a worst case scenario where you really needed that, that oil, whether it be for cooking or just because you needed calories, you can divert from using the bad part of the oil and still use the good part of the oil. So, I think coconut oil is one of the best fats to store for long term.
See, Christopher Branham, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about coconut oil.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got 101 uses as well. So, you can cook with it, and you can do a lot of other things with it as well.
The fats I generally tend to keep are coconut oil, ghee, lard, and avocado oil.
Yes, that's what I do too.
You see, I use this. I use the regular oils that I use for cooking, anyways, which it falls in line with the same things that pretty much anyone uses. I like olive oil. I like neutral tasting oils. You know, I like what people like to call the poison canola oil. You know, I use some of those things. I use the stuff that I regularly use on an everyday basis. However, I rotate through them, but I make sure that for long-term storage, that I always have a good supply of coconut oil and ghee, of course, because I know that those fats will outlast the regular oils that I use on an everyday basis, anyways.
Lady Hammer's asking how long do you long-term store olive oil?
Well, I rotate my olive oil, but I've got olive oil that I've used that was 3 years old, and there was nothing wrong with it. So usually I'll rotate through my oils. However, the oldest one that I've consumed, I think, was about 3 years old, maybe 4. And yeah, nothing wrong with it. No off flavor or anything like that. However, remember that I always stand by the practice of making sure that your long-term storage, your pantry it has a good temperature. So for example, my pantry, it never falls below like 53 degrees during the winter months, and it never goes above 67 or 68 degrees in the hottest days that I've experienced here, being that I'm in Alaska. You know, a couple of years ago, we had about a week or 2 weeks straight where it was like between 85 and 95. And for us, that's really hot, all right? And my pantry still never went over like 67 or 68 degrees. So as long as you store, if you make that one of your, one of the things that you do no matter what, make sure that whatever you're going to put away, whether it be for long-term storage or mid to long-term storage, make sure that you have it in a place where the temperature is controlled to the best of your ability, of course, depending where you live. And one of the key things is too that the temperature, no matter how low or how high it gets, that you don't want to have a quick jump in temperature in either direction, meaning that you don't want your pantry to go from 55 degrees to 65 in 10 minutes. It's better if it's a gradual step up and a gradual step down in temperature.
Lady Hammer is asking, do you pressure cook olive oil or do you do it like this?
Pressure can olive oil? No, I just use it the way it comes in the jar from the store. Yeah, I would never try to pressure can olive oil. To me, there's no benefit to doing so. I mean, as far as having oils for long term, I try to keep about a 2 or 3 year supply of the oils that I use and rotate them, and I've never had a problem. And I figure that if we're in a crisis that's more than 3 years long, and then I have to dip into my coconut oil and my ghee in order to, man, we're in some really big trouble. And I mean, anything that's going to last like long, even one of the worst crises that I've ever read about, which was, I'm not sure if you've all ever read or listened to. I did a video about this, about a gentleman that went through the Bosnian War, and he documented it in a titled essay that was called A Year in Hell. Now, that was a real 100% blown out SHTF, WROL, whatever you want to call it, a real, and it only lasted a year. All right, so if we're in a crisis where I have to rely on my oils for 3 years or more, man, we're really in big trouble, Not saying that it couldn't happen, but I just hope that never happens. But that's why we prep, right? That's why we prep.
JT is asking, where did it go? It just jumped. Is it bad to store new canning jars in garage? A bit worried about the rubber on the lids.
I don't
know, but I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so, but I really can't tell you that I know, because I don't have any experience with that. I do have my canning jars right now outside. The ones that I bought last year, they've been in outside temperatures, but like I said, here it's 57 degrees right now. It's the the second to last day of May, so it's not like they're going to get very hot like they would in other climates, like in Florida where JT is from.
Yeah, like I lived in Florida up until November this past year, and I relocated to North Carolina. And in Florida, I was lucky because I had a spare bedroom. So I just blacked out the curtains. I blacked out the room. I made sure that the AC was pumping in there, and I kept the room, at a comfortable 76, which is what we kept it on the house. But I was able to store everything inside, climate controlled. And then I found this house with a basement, so that solved the
Oh
problem.
goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got a
That
basement.
solves all your problems right there. What does it stay down there? About 60, 59 degrees?
I moved here in November, so through the winter, I was down there building my rabbit cages, and it was like 22, 28 degrees outside, but I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt in my basement all night long. It stays about 64, between 64 and like 68 year round.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That is excellent.
Yeah, I got lucky with that. Plus, I got a huge root cellar. So
nice.
So jealous.
Me too. I was just thinking the same thing. I'm jealous, man.
I'm hoping at some point we can build a root. It's kind of on my list. That and a smokehouse. I want to smoke.
Nice. Well, the bottom part of my house is a part of my house that is kind of like the crawl space of my house. I went ahead and insulated and sealed off about half of it, and that's where I keep my utilities, like my pipes for my waste and water and all that, and my water tanks. So down there during the summer, like I hate saying during the summer right now because there's nothing like summer now, but during this time of the year, it's still like 48 degrees down there. And during the hottest times of the year that we've experienced here, like let's say, for example, if it gets up to 90 degrees, it'll be 55 degrees down there. So yeah, because I insulated the walls on that bottom part of the house with like R30 insulation. I mean, really thick. I had almost 1 foot of insulation in the walls, and it stays very nice and cool during the summer. And I just have to heat it a little bit during the winter, but not that much. So that's kind of like my root cellar. But eventually, I really do want to actually have a root cellar that I can actually put my things in.
I was gonna say my grandparents, they lived in the same house since way before I was born, right? And they built an addition onto their house, and they'd had a basement. Well, when they built the addition, they made a way for them to go from the basement to underneath the addition, and they used to keep their apples from their apple tree under there as their kind of root cellar. I remember when we were kids, like crawling under there, putting the bags in there and stuff.
Oh, EMT's got a good point for that lid. Said you could always just take the lids off and bring them inside because they don't take up much space. I mean, you could store thousands and thousands of lids in the closet on the shelf. And because the rings and the jars would hurt, but just if you're worried about the rubber on the lids, that's a pretty good idea. But I mean, if you think about it,
Ghee is looking good.
Yeah, it is.
Nice.
How many pounds are you doing, Virginia?
I put 6.5 pounds in this container because I knew I was going to try and do 6 pints. I might have actually put in 7. I watched Alaska Prepper's Ghee video this morning, and he had put all the sticks standing up, kind of like Stonehenge in the pot. So this is a 6-quart pot, and I stood them all up like Stonehenge, and then I stacked a few on the top, and it took roughly 5 3/4, 6 3/4 pounds. So I figured with the water boil off and the steam and whatever settles to the bottom, I'm hoping that 6 jars will be done with roughly 7 pounds. I was also going to ask Alaska Prepper the best temperature at which to store ghee, being that it's a pure fat, because oils can go rancid. Is there a really ideal temperature to store this?
Well, ghee is not an oil; it's a fat.
Okay.
So like I said, I would use the same practice with storing ghee that I use with storing anything else. Keep it in a temperature control room between 55 or so and 70 degrees. However, as I've stated before, I've left ghee out. I actually have ghee out on my counter now. That's been there for a couple of months. You have to understand, little Miss Alaska Prepper's in Michigan with her mom for the last couple months. So we haven't gone through as much ghee as we do when she's here.
Right.
So, I've got ghee that's sitting right next to my stove, just like Milkmaid does, and absolutely nothing wrong with it. I could let it sit there for 6 months and I'd be fine with consuming it because it's not going to go bad. I mean, ghee is almost like the perfect fat for storing long term.
It's starting to smell like popcorn butter in here.
Oh, that looks good. You should get
Yeah.
some popcorn out. You're
And
eating some popcorn while your ghee is making it.
That's like the perfect place setting. You've got a jar of ghee and a jar of bacon grease sitting right beside the stove. Does it get any better?
There you go.
Good. Yeah, mine's just about ready. Cooking off.
Sorry, y'all. My internet is so bad.
Oh, really? We can see you just fine.
Milkmaid, how many
Yeah,
pounds?
keep-
are you doing? Sorry. 7.
She said 7.
Yeah.
Lucky number 7.
There you go. Well, I figured because we were going to can 7 pints in the bottom,
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
So-
yeah.
just made sense to do 7.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had to go. Yeah.
Oh, look at Ghost.
Hey,
Ghost
Emily
is probably
L.
up now.
Ooh,
Look
cool.
at Ghost. Yeah,
Yes.
that's looking good right there, Ghost.
Let me see it.
Now, Alaskan Prepper, I watched a couple of your videos about ghee, and one of them you skimmed off the film, and the other one you didn't.
I think the one that I probably skimmed off some of the film was my first one. The
Yeah.
one where I had a whole
Okay.
bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not as informed during that one than I was when I did the second one. Oh no, it looks like we lost her.
She'll be back. Here she comes.
At least I'm not the only one dropping off.
Hey, that's what it's all about. It's all about learning, I've always said that one of the best ways to learn is through your failures, and a failure is really not a failure if you took the time to learn from it.
That's
Thank you
right.
so much.
Hey,
Thank you so much.
G2, how you doing, G2?
Thank you, G. I
So,
appreciate that.
I missed your answer, so you don't skim it anymore.
Okay, so yes, that was the first time that I ever showed it, and looking back now, I used salted butter for that. So I wasn't really losing anything by skimming it because less solids to have to get burned off, but you don't have to skim it.
Okay.
You don't have to skim it. You can just let it go down. Towards the very end, when you're just about done, there may be a little ring of foam around the edge of the pot. And if you like, you can skim that off.
Okay.
However, to tell you the truth, if a little bit of that foam gets in your jar, it's not going to do anything. There's
Okay.
nothing wrong with it. I've had that happen to me. I've never had a problem with it.
Now, for long-term storage, do you advise running it through a cheesecloth, or do you just pour it in the jars and let it rock and roll?
Well, what I did was when I did mine, I mean, you can run it through a cheesecloth. Nothing wrong with that. When I did mine, I didn't run it through a cheesecloth. I just put it in there. I was just careful, and I kept the last little bit of ghee that was in the bottom, to put in a bowl that I ended up using, and not processing or putting in a jar. So yeah, I mean, you can do that. You can definitely run it through a cheesecloth or run it through one of those real fine strainers. Nothing wrong with that at all. And to tell you the truth, this is my opinion. Even if some solids get in there, it's not going to kill anything. It's not going to hurt anything. If some of the burnt off solids get in there, because you have to understand, this has been cooking, or this has been boiling at 212 degrees. Right now, if you look at Virginia's, hers been simmering for the last 45 minutes, 40 minutes. So if there's a little solid or two that gets to the bottom of your jar, I don't consider that being a big deal or something to worry about.
I saw one person like really freaking out about it, like very ladling it in, and you couldn't like make the milk solids shuffle, and I kind of thought that was a little bit overkill. So I just ran through like this.
Yep, that's exactly what I have too. I have one of those strainers.
And it's
I mean,
pretty fine.
Yeah,
So,
the ones that I have is actually a set of 3 that one of my community members sent me, and I use it for straining my French coffee, my French press coffee. Because whenever you do French press, you know that little bubbles on top and that stuff. I kind of like don't like that, and so I strain my coffee through there. That's what I mainly use it for. But yeah, that'll work. That'll definitely work.
are you a coffee connoisseur?
Oh, I'm a coffee addict. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a 2 cup a day. You know, on good days. On bad days, it might be more, but at least 2 cups a day over here.
Yeah. We were actually considering for our, we do love our coffee, but it doesn't retain its freshness for a very long time. So we were thinking of getting some of those green coffee beans
Mm-hmm.
and learning how to roast them.
Well, to tell you the truth, you know, I've had really good luck with vacuum sealed coffee. You know, the ones that come in the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some of those for a long time, and I've never had one that was bad. Now, I do remember a long time ago, I'm thinking it's about 2 years ago, that I opened up some coffee cans that were like 3, 4 years old. Every single one of them was bad. I mean, they were all rancid. But that was a good learning experience because I found that the ones that come in the vacuum sealed squares, man, I've had very good luck with every single one. I've never had one that I opened up that was not good and didn't taste good. And then another thing that you can do for long-term storage for coffee would be, you know, freeze-dried or powder-dry coffee. I prefer more powder-dry coffee. I think it has better flavor. But powder-dried or freeze-dried coffee will last indefinitely. You don't ever have to worry about it going bad. It will last pretty much forever.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into those because we were trying to figure out a way to do that. He loves his hazelnut.
Oh, really? Oh, good. Hey, it's the little things that matter.
No,
it's the
yeah.
little things in life, you know, that matter.
Well, I mean, if you ever have a situation where it's really, really having just those little things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's those comfort items. I talk about comfort foods all the time. They're like, but AP, you're already a fat body. I'm like, I don't care. I like my Snickers bars, and I'm going to store them. You know, those little things can really help you out in a stressful situation. You know, one of the things that I like to tell people about preparedness is that what you're doing is you're not allowing a stressful situation to become more stressful by not having those things that you normally have anyways. So comfort foods is something that makes people happy for whatever reason. But if you have something that makes you happy, that you like, you know, then get some of that, because during a stressful situation, you know, that's something that you can use to, you know, give you a little more energy, you know, get you going and allow you to do those things that you need to do. So,
like chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen anyone eat chocolate that didn't smile when they ate chocolate. And if you're eating chocolate and you're not smiling, then you're not eating it right.
Right. Or there's That's funny. Somebody can.
How's it going over there, Ghost? How's your ghee coming out?
It's looking good. Hang on.
Show us his ghee.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, it is looking pretty good. Nice.
Melted and nice and foamy.
You know what? Let me go ahead and confess real quick, Ghost. All right, I'm going to confess to you. You know, when you told me that we were going to be doing a live stream today, making ghee, I was like, are you kidding me? We're going to be looking at ghee for 2 hours? But in all honesty, I'm having a great time.
Last week we looked at beans for 4 hours.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it that long. Goodness.
We were looking at beans for 4 hours, but he held 60 some people in the chat that whole time too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it took a while to do the beans, but it worked.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It was like I was going earlier when we did the canning, right? So Virginia had her issues that she had to work through people in the chat had questions as they were going along with us. And what was really cool is like we're right there in the moment with them.
Yeah.
And so if someone had a question while they were canning, they could just pop it in the chat and it was answered like that, you know?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, this YouTube thing is not bad. I know people have a love-hate relationship with YouTube, especially if you're a creator, right? But all in all, I have to say that it's a positive for those of us that want to use it in a positive way. So, yeah.
Who I was asking Alaskan Prepper, why aren't you canning? I know you have at least 40 pounds of butter in your freezer.
Whoa, who said that?
Who, Al?
Who knows me too well? Actually, I try to keep at least 50 pounds at any one time. but right now I have all the ghee that I need. So usually once I get down to at least 6 pints of ghee that I can make, I'll go ahead and do it, to do at least 6 at one time. Because I really don't want to, like make 1 pint when I'm out, and I really don't want to be down a full case. So usually 6 pints, I'll go ahead and make up a fresh 6-pint batch, and then we'll rotate it.
That's awesome. There's several people in the chat that said they're canning along with us.
That's great. That is awesome. Wild Nesting is asking, what's the best way to store M&Ms for long term? I actually have a video on that. But I can answer your question. That way you don't have to be tortured and watch me take 45 minutes to explain it on a video. Really, all you have to do is dry can it. If you dry can it in jars, I would say preferably in jars, dry can it and vacuum seal it. I think it works great. And with M&Ms, you can, even though M&Ms have a lot of sugar, with those you can actually put an oxygen absorber in there, and it's not going to affect the M&Ms because they have a lot of sugar. So that'll last even longer. But I think they'll last literally for a decade if you just dry can it without an oxygen absorber. The reason I'm saying that is because I've opened up M&Ms that came out of Army MREs that were like 6-7 years old, and the M&Ms were still good, and they weren't sealed in any special way. They were just in the regular packaging, and they were still good. Then again, ladies and gentlemen, I'll eat anything. So you have to do your own research on that. Do your own little tests.
Susanna joined us.
Hey, Susanna.
Hello. Hello, Susanna.
Hello.
Hi, girl.
I just want to say that everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. I couldn't set up my tripod. I couldn't. My camera wouldn't work. I was behind. That's a picture of what it looks like right now.
Well,
Beautiful.
yeah, you're doing good. You didn't give up.
I went and I
your
cried
view?
for like 3 minutes and then came back.
That is a cool thumbnail right there.
Yeah, it is.
That almost looks like a planet. I thought that maybe that was Uranus or Saturn or something like that. That is pretty cool looking, to tell you the truth.
It's like the Ghee planet. Well, Susanna, you're just going to have to keep trying and trying and trying again until we get you up here.
Yeah, just try it again, girl.
You get the Fortitude Award.
Yep.
And then
It's looking good, Virginia. Looking good.
It's so beautiful. I'm telling you,
I'm
man.
going to be excited for you when I stop seeing steam come off of there. I'll be like, yeah, you're almost there.
It's
look at that.
We'll see if you can beat Ghost.
Oh, she's way ahead of me.
She's way ahead of you.
Starting to steam.
Brenda wants to know how long you cook ghee.
It depends. It really depends on how much you're cooking. It depends on how much of a nutty flavor you want. It depends on whether it's salted butter or unsalted butter. Pretty much it's not how long you cook it, but for how long you need to cook it. And it's really undetermined how long because it really depends on a lot of things.
So
what you want to look for here is, if you're taking a look at Virginia's here, you're seeing that there's still steam coming off the top. That means that there's still water in that butter. So once all of that water is gone, the next step is that ghee or that butter is going to start burning off the solids. So right now, none of the solids have burned off because there's still too much water in it. So once all of that steam is out of there and there's no more water in there, that's when the solids are going to be getting burned off. Let me give you a really good example. Only for those of you that have maybe ever made pork rinds, fresh pork rinds. You take pork rinds, and you throw them in a pot, and you start cooking them. And what happens? First thing that happens is that you get rid of all the water in the meat. It'll be steaming and steaming while you're frying it. It'll be steaming and water will be coming out and steam will be coming out. Once that steam or that water is gone from that meat, then it starts getting fried in its own fat. That's exactly what we're doing right here. We're getting rid of all that water, and then all of those solids are going to start getting fried by its own fat and dropping to the bottom. I think, I don't know if that made sense or not, but
that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah. You explained the scientific process.
Yeah.
You can feel it sometimes when you're stirring it. You can sort of feel the heaviness on the bottom.
Yeah, on the bottom. Yeah, and that's the thing. You want to make sure that you stop stirring it once your solids start to burn off, because once your solids are burnt off, then you want them to fall to the bottom, and the more you stir it, the more that you can stir them up to the top, which it really isn't going to hurt anything, but it'll just make the process a little bit quicker.
Rudy, Mad Shad would like to know what the cholesterol level is in ghee.
I have no idea.
Interesting question.
Who asked that, Mad Shad?
Yeah.
Mad Shad.
Mad Shad, I have no idea whatsoever. You know what, though? I don't like to leave people without an answer. I have no idea. However, I would imagine that it would be very similar to the cholesterol level in the butter that you're using, because it only makes sense, because you're not getting rid of the cholesterol in that product just because the water is being evaporated out and the solids are being dropped down to the bottom. So I would imagine that the cholesterol level in ghee would be very similar to the cholesterol levels that you have in the butter that you used to process that ghee. I hope that helps, Mad Shad.
Hey, Redneck Prepper.
Hi, Redneck.
Sorry, I wanted to make sure I said hi to him.
What are you guys thinking about we do next week? I know y'all been thinking.
Hey, the Redneck Prepper is in the house. Be charming. Good to see you all.
Did you say what do we want to can next week?
Yeah, I'm sure one of you got a crazy idea going on.
We should make like a meal.
A meal?
Or should we start?
Like chili or beef stew or spaghetti or soup?
Something like that. Some ready to eat meal. What do you think?
Yeah, I got a lot of those downstairs.
Oh, I won't be here next week.
Oh. Well,
My daughter graduates AIT. I'm going to go see her.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, awesome. Where at?
Huachuca.
Ah, Arizona.
Fort Huachuca. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's her MOS? Or what's her job?
Foxtrot.
What's that?
35 Foxtrot. She's
What
an
is that?
So she's communications? I don't remember what 35s are. Is that common? Intel.
Intelligence analyst.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was my first MOS back when it was 05 Kilo, was Intel analyst. And then I switched to 11 Bravo right before basic training and decided to be infantry.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was a mistake. I should have went the other direction.
Where were you stationed?
Fort Drum, New York, 10th Mountain Division.
Oh, 10th Mountain. Goodness gracious. Bless you.
Yeah, I was one of the inaugurals back in '89.
10th Mountain, man. They're one of the most deployed units there is.
Yeah.
Those guys had it really rough in Afghanistan when I went there.
Yeah, it's a tough duty station. It
is.
I loved it though. I loved it. Definitely.
Yeah.
Does your daughter know where she's going to be stationed, Milkmaid?
She's going to Bragg. So
right, Airborne. That was my first duty station, Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be closer to me because the other option.
Is she gonna get her jump wings?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. She's gonna be attached to Airborne. So
Yeah,
she'll be over at Benning for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm only 45 minutes from Bragg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I come visit her, we'll have to come see you.
Absolutely.
That's
Definitely.
awesome.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at Fort Bragg. When I wasn't at Fort Drum, we were at Fort Bragg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's really excited.
She'll be excited. Yep, that's good. Once she gets her to her duty station, it'll take her a little while to get settled in, and then it'll just become part of regular everyday life.
Yeah.
Is she going to airborne school before she goes to Bragg, or she's going to go after she gets her unit?
I'm not certain. Things are a little crazy right now. So like she was supposed to go there next week, and now she's in holding. So
okay.
Yeah. And she had the option, actually. Well, not an option. She either was going to go to Bragg, Italy, or Alaska. But I was kind of hoping for closer to me.
Oh, good. That's great.
Most of the new incoming troops to Bragg, they try to get them jump qualified before they bring them to Bragg. They
yeah,
usually, not always, but usually that's part of because that's just the hassle. They don't want to have to do the paperwork to
Yep. So that the unit doesn't have to pay for it, and the Army does.
Yeah.
So, no, I went right from AIT to Benning, and then from Benning to Bragg, and then from Bragg to Afghanistan. It was 1, 2, 3.
We were at Benning for a while.
Oh, were you? Oh, when I was there, though, it wasn't very fun. We were there in the middle of summer, and I think the average temperature there while I was there was like 112. And it's not even the temperature; it's the darn humidity. Goodness.
Yeah. I went through April, May, June, and July. I went through basic at Fort Benning, and it started off nice and temperate, but man, come June and July, when that humidity started kicking in, wow.
That humidity, man, in July, August, it's terrible.
Rough. It was rough.
I mean, the first thing that the black hats used to do to us in the morning was smoke us for like half an hour, and we'd be all wet of sweat all day long. And they did that on purpose. They would always find something wrong. Give them an excuse to just smoke you for the next half hour or so. And then you're drenched in sweat for the whole day. And, imagine 100 guys walking in formation, drenched in sweat. By the end of the day, we stunk up the entire barracks.
And the worst part was when they take you to the sawdust pit to do hand-to-hand practice and you're soaking wet already. And the first thing to do is shove a handful of sawdust down your T-shirt, and the next couple hours, you just got sawdust everywhere. People thought sand was bad. Sawdust is horrible.
That's a lot of fun. Now that it's been 20 years since I had to do it.
Yeah, it's funny now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband would come home and he'd be so and he'd go straight to the shower.
Your husband's in the military, Milkmaid?
Was active duty, now is reserve.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he was active duty for a little over a decade.
Wow.
Kind of wish we had just stuck it out the rest of the night.
Hey, you know what? It's tough. It really is. A lot of people that have never served, they really, not saying anything bad about anyone that's ever served. That's what freedom's all about. But they don't understand how difficult military life is. I mean, it really is. Not only for the service member, but for the family members as well. It's like doing double duty all the time.
I enlisted twice. I enlisted in 88.
There you go.
I did 88 to 92. I got out with an injury. I was medically separated. I blew my knees out. And at 10th Mountain, we don't ride in vehicles anywhere. We walk everywhere.
Right.
So I was medically separated, but I never claimed my disability. So after 9/11, I waived my disability 10% and went back in and served another tour. I think I hurt again. Now I'm out again. What are you going to do?
It's meant to be.
It is.
Look at that. Virginia's is almost there. You're almost there, Virginia.
Mine is taking forever, per usual.
That's okay. Slow and steady.
Right? I'd rather not burn that much butter, if you know.
You know,
what I mean.
you guys, you all trap me. You know that? You all trap me here. Because I'm not leaving here until someone's ghee is done. I have to see how it comes out.
Milkmaid,
My life ransom.
I
No,
got Virginia coming in first place so far, from what I can see.
mine's taken forever too, but I did 16 pounds. So
Oh yeah, 16 pounds. Yeah, that'll take a little bit.
yeah.
That's okay. It'll be worth it. It'll be worth it, definitely.
Yeah. I'm Rudy's like, well, I'll pop in for a few minutes, but I can't stay very long. An hour and a half later.
Hey, that's so good. I've always said when you're in good company, time goes by quick. So
We sat on, like, last week. We was 3 hours on the first stream, and then everybody finished, and then we shut down and went live for an after party for like another 2.5 hours, just talking about what we did, going off the beans.
But it's fun. Like you get to talk to like-minded people.
yeah, man, it's so good. That's good. It's a good community.
Yeah.
If you guys can hang out with each other for 3 or 4 hours, that means that you guys are in sync. You've got a good community here, and that's what matters.
Virginia's getting the fast forward speed spoiled route. Usually when you can a canning, like when I start canning, if I'm doing a weekend of canning, it's like literally like 24 hours, sometimes 30 hours of canning. I'll get a nap and can some more. But it's a really boring process if you're just stuck in the kitchen by yourself, waiting on the jiggler to make noise, bringing your pressure up and down. But when you're doing it with like 5 or 6 other people at the same time, now it's fun.
Yep.
Now you all have my dog Karma watching you.
Yeah, my dog's chilling.
Sandra,
You want to say hi? Say hello.
oh,
Sit, Karma. Ah, good girl. Say hi. Looky.
Oh, she's a beauty.
Say hello. Yeah, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. She's my little bestie.
Cute. What is she?
She's an English Shepherd.
Okay.
She actually belongs to my daughter, but ever since my daughter and my wife went off to Michigan for the summer, she's become my little bestie.
Oh.
And that girl back there is Dog. She's the old maid of the house.
I just want to jump in real quick and ask Sandra Moody if she's okay. She just said in the chat, I had an explosion, been cleaning up. It had just melted, and I went to stir it, and it exploded like a volcano. Butter from head to toe, kitchen covered in butter. No clue what happened.
Oh, no.
Really?
How much butter was she using? Was it a whole lot?
I don't know. I just hope she's okay and didn't get burnt.
That's what I was talking about when I would take my spoon. It's almost like it bubbled up.
Yeah, it's something that you want to watch. This is seriously something that you want to be there all the time. Like when I do my ghee, I never leave the site. As soon as it starts simmering, I never leave the site. I stay there right next to it the whole time. Even if it takes an hour, I stay there. So
Brenda's asking if where did it go? It jumped on me. If using salted butter, does it have salt crystals in the ghee? I wouldn't think so, right? Since it's getting burned off.
No, right. You're not going to taste any salt in the ghee. The salt will be burned off and drop to the bottom with the other solids.
Okay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that everything I'm telling you is from my experience. Mm-hmm. So, if someone's had a different experience, it could be. But, like I said, if you're using salted butter like I have in the past, the ghee that I'm using right now is ghee that I made with salted butter back in, I think it was 13. And it doesn't taste salty. It just tastes like any other ghee I've made. Now that looks great. Virginia, you see that? That steam is almost done. You're almost out of steam on that.
Yes, and it's super.
Now you want to make sure that at this point, Virginia, that you watch your temperature really well.
Okay.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And then all of this will settle to the bottom, right?
That's all going to settle. You'll probably be left with a little ring of foam around the edges. And if you want, once that's done, you can just go ahead and skim that off. It's not going to hurt anything. But right now, you're doing great. Everything is settling to the bottom. I would say that if you're going to stir it now, it just might be the very top portion of it and not too low, so that you don't stir up any of that solid. It's looking really, really nice.
Yeah, it is. Mine's just now really starting to rock and roll.
Sandra says she's okay, but she She's cleaning up and starting over. She didn't leave it. She was right there with it. It was barely warm and unsalted.
Yeah, she said it wasn't that hot. That's what I'm talking about. Check the comment out. I'm starting over after I finish cleaning it up. She's going right back at it. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just glad that she's not hurt.
Oh, no.
Never give up, girl. You got this.
Yeah, look at Virginia. She pulled her canner behind the wall at Pit Road, pulled the engine out, rebuilt it, put it back together, and canned beans.
That's right.
Oh my goodness, Virginia! I think you're just about done.
Okay.
Yeah. See how big the bubbles are.
Virginia, is there still steam coming off of yours?
A little bit. I can see just
a little bit, not very much, a tiny bit.
I am. If I were you, I think I would lower the temperature on that just a little bit.
Okay.
Unless if you want a nuttier flavor, you can leave the temperature up. But I would lower it just a little bit because as soon as you don't see any more steam, I would say by looking at it that you're ready to jar it.
Okay. So I'm going to turn this off and I'm going to go ahead and start jarring it right now.
Yes, and make sure that you're very careful when you do that, by the way, because obviously that's extremely hot. And your jars are in the oven right now?
Yep.
Outstanding.
Okay, y'all got to see Buddy. He hadn't made his entrance yet.
Where is Buddy?
Oh, that's a big old guy, isn't he?
Oh.
Is that a Great Dane? What kind of dog is that?
Yellow Lab.
Yellow Lab, okay.
Boy,
he's a good-looking guy. He looks like he's got a good demeanor.
It's time for his treat. Watch this. Okay. You guys see him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, he's cute. Wait till you see what his treat is, Rudy.
I hope you like don't throw my cat or something. What do you want, baby girl? Oh, nice, a carrot. What? Oh no! Don't start with me. Don't start with me. Oh no! Somebody wants to play. It's not turn to play yet. You want to say hi? Sit. Okay, look. Sit. Speak. 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 No.
She's like, nope.
Speak. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Come here. Sit. You want to say hi? Speak. Speak. Good girl. Her breath stinks.
Don't they all?
One thing I noticed is that in the stirring process, doing the butter, you can actually feel the thickness, the resistance in the butter change as you're stirring it.
Oh yeah, change. Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Oh, look at that ghee! Isn't that pretty?
Oh, look at that.
Man, look at that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that ghee. Man, that is awesome. That's a beauty.
Look at her and her bad self. That's a perfect.
Isn't that a nice color?
It is.
Just poured in jar. Rudy, do you see her question?
Oh, I'm concentrating on the ghee. It's pretty much good indefinitely, Kim. Kim, ghee is pretty much good indefinitely. I know it's hard to believe, but all you have to do is make a small batch, leave it out on your counter, and use it up in a year's time, and you'll see that once you get down to your last jar, even after a year, it's still going to be perfect. Ghee is one of those fats that you can pretty much store indefinitely, and it'll still be good.
Virginia, I love your cooking gloves or your mittens or your whatever you call it.
Yeah, I buy my clothing from Halloween store sales, so.
That looks good.
Making a mess.
That is looking very nice.
Yeah,
Very nice, Virginia.
up on it.
How's yours going, Jess? You still cooking?
Oh, mine's still cooking down.
Yeah, mine's just getting started. Mine's just getting a good roll to it.
I think it's almost done. I can actually see to the bottom now, so.
I can see the solids moving around in mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's because I'm getting impatient.
I am too. I'm like, come on, I'm watching Virginia jar up that stuff, the ghee. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's looking good.
I'm always behind
for Virginia.
We're not holding you
Virginia,
up.
Virginia, have you ever had ghee? Have you ever actually used it and consumed it?
I have consumed it. I have not cooked with it yet.
Oh, you know, make some pancakes with it.
I will.
You'll love it.
Video. You have to do a video with your daughter's pancake recipe.
I'm telling you, you know, whenever I fry with ghee, it just makes all the difference. It is such a good fat to fry with, and it has a very high flash point at that. So you can pretty much fry anything you want with it.
Now, I have a question for you. I like to, when I cook steaks at home, especially like filet mignons, I sear them really good in a cast iron pan, top, bottom, and both edges, and then I put them in the oven for like 45 seconds on each side at a really, really good temperature.
Yeah.
But I melt the butter, and then I add all the garlic and the herbs and stuff in the butter. Then I freeze the butter in the fridge, and then I use the butter to let it melt, you know, onto the steaks and stuff and to sear with. Now, would that work just as well with ghee, being that it has a high flash point?
Yeah, it will, and I think it's better because if you taste ghee and you compare it to butter, in my opinion, ghee is like butter on steroids as far as the boldness of the butter flavor within the ghee. So to me, ghee is like, you know, really a little stronger butter taste than just butter because you don't have all that water in there, and butter as well is somewhat aerated, where the solid fat from the butter, just the ghee, is a lot more dense than just butter. So, you know, in my opinion, so I think it tastes really good. It's great for frying like steaks and stuff like that. Excellent for doing that.
That'll be awesome. I'm definitely going to do that with it.
I wonder if it would give it a better sear because you can get the temp up higher.
I think so. And it won't burn your butter either because butter burns really easy. You know, so you use ghee instead. Like you said, it's got a higher flash point and you'll be able to give it a better sear.
Oh, you know what? I got some pork chops in the freezer. I'm totally going to try that. Normally I just use like lard, but I wonder if that's
So I've heard the you know, the leftover stuff referred to as liquid gold.
Yeah.
So do you cook with that?
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it as far as consuming it. And yeah, during the beginning of the live stream, I did say that you can use that for maybe mixing it with a little bit of garlic, you know, and making a garlic toast or something like that on spaghetti night. You know, you can take it and use it to put it, maybe mix it in with some mashed potatoes. You know, just use your imagination. Anything that you like butter in, you can go ahead and use that and see how it comes out. You know, just experiment with it. Point being is that it's not going to harm you to consume it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me excuse myself for a second. I have to go see what my dogs are all barking about over here.
You got the Sasquatch up there.
Ghost Jess, Sandra wants to know, she put less butter in it this time and it's finished melting. Should she continuously stir it?
Yes.
While it's melting?
Yeah, once it's melted, you should stir it.
Yeah.
You didn't stir yours, Milkmaid?
I just stir mine occasionally, and I don't really stir it. I try to let the solids start to drop.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'll just like kind of pull away the foam and kind of look and see what's going on underneath. But maybe do go a bit deeper.
Yeah, I'm not scratching the bottom. I'm just moving it around, but it's getting thicker, and you can see that the color changing and the consistency.
Is yours getting clearer, Ghost?
Kind of starting to, you can see it started to clarify a little bit. Not there yet.
Yeah, mine's clearing up. I can see to the bottom, but I can still see a little bit of like chunks in there.
Yeah. Well, and like what was said earlier, if you're at home and you just want to make like a pint of ghee, all you need is 1 pound and probably 15, maybe 20 minutes. It does not take this long for just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm worried it might scare people off if they think, holy cow. An hour and a half for ghee.
Virginia's looks awesome. Look at
Virginia,
that.
your stuff is looking very nice. Look at that.
Beautiful.
You're like a pro.
Why, thank you.
That is awesome. That is so nice. You're making me want to make a batch of ghee, and I don't even need any right now.
That's what we're here for.
Look at that. Mm.
Now, Virginia, make sure that you put that lid on nice and tight so that you can get a good seal. I know that the jar is going to be hot, but yeah, you submit. And yeah, there you go. Give it a nice tight. There you go. Because that's good right there. Because this is not like pressure canning. You're going to want to make sure that you get a good seal on that where no air can get in or out.
So, Rudy, I have a question.
Yes.
When I've made ghee in the past, I didn't put the lid on right away.
Uh-huh.
I let it sitting until it came down to room temperature because I was worried about the air that was in the jar condensing and creating moisture and maybe causing bacteria. Is that?
No, I've never had a problem with that. I put my lid on and my ring on tight as soon as I get it in that jar. And the air in there is pretty hot already, so it's pretty sanitized. So even if you had the very smallest amount of condensation, it should be fine. But I've never had it condense on me doing that. I never had any condensation in there.
See, that makes sense then. Okay. All right. Because that was a pain sitting it out on the counter and trying to make sure that nothing got into it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
We have a farmhouse. Flies get into the house and, that kind of stuff.
Hey, that's a good thing. We need insects. My wife and my daughter are like, oh, mosquitoes. I'm like, they're just insects. They're not going to kill you.
Yeah.
You need to build you one of those Venus flytrap things that Virginia Root made and hang it in your house.
That's right.
They honestly don't bother me. They don't like to bite me. For some reason, they don't like my flavor. They like my wife and my daughter more.
Oh, I blood type thing because I'm always the one that gets attacked, and none of the rest of my family. I'm the bait.
Did you say you're the bait?
I'm the bait for all the mosquitoes.
Nice.
Wait.
So Virginia, what is that? 6 pints?
These are pints. They're short, wide-mouthed pints.
Nice. So did you have any leftovers since you used 7 pounds? Yes. Did you have any leftover ghee since you used 7? You say you used 7 pounds, right?
Yeah, I do have a little residue. I'll show everyone in
nice.
just. And I've got a lot of material on the bottom, and I could probably actually put some more into another jar and just strain it.
Yeah, I mean, or put it into a bowl so that you can use it right away. Or it doesn't matter. Put it, you can put it somewhere where you can use that. Make that your ghee that you're using
right away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Boy, that looks so nice. That's awesome. I'm very happy that it worked out well. That looks great.
Virginia, you got a question, huh?
Can we see the solids in the bottom of the pot?
Yep, sure enough. All right, so let me see. Sorry, guys.
Look at that.
Nice.
Oh,
Man, that's even good right there. You did a really good job. I mean, you did not burn it at all.
that looks
That
good.
looks great. Yeah, you can definitely use that for your everyday cooking right there. Even all those solids down there.
Virginia
What-
wins the canning ghee party.
Heck yes! I'm gonna
Ghost,
strain
what temp did you heat those jars on?
What'd you say, Emily?
What temperature did you heat the jars on? Klingon wants to know. And for how long?
Did you heat the jars for?
No, she wants to know how long do you heat them and what temperature?
Oh, to heat up your jars. What was it? 225 for like 10, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, 200 degrees for 10, 15, 20 minutes. Usually I do 200 degrees for 20 minutes.
Okay.
I
I mean,
did.
that's plenty long.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put your jars in or preheat the oven, put your jars in right before you make the ghee, then they should by the time you get them out, even if you're just doing a pound.
Yep, absolutely.
Sorry, I gotta babysit it more. Looking so good. So how long ago did you start making ghee, Rudy?
Well, like I said, the first batch I ever made was back in 2013.
No? Oh, shoot. I must have missed that. Sorry.
So yeah, that's the first time I ever made it, and ever since I made it and tried it, it's been a love affair ever since.
So here's all after I strained out the last bit. This is what's on the bottom.
Oh my goodness, Virginia, take that and put it in a bowl and mix it with a little bit of garlic salt.
Okay, I will.
The next time that you make spaghetti or something, there's your garlic bread salt.
This is
man, that's a good idea.
goes it's bigger. Here's the bottom of the pan.
Yep, nice.
I did this through cheesecloth into this last jar.
And look at that. Did you get a full pint? Oh, that's great. You did good.
Yep.
That looks great.
Very nice.
Delicious. You know those videos that they'll put like on YouTube, and they're like these mesmerizing videos that you just can't stop watching with all like stuff. That's what I feel like staring into this pot, stirring this ghee. It's like ooh.
That's right. You're a smarter man than me, Ghost. I watched one of those videos once with a guy hitting a spike into the ground with a hammer. And he just kept hitting it, and the spike never went anywhere. And I watched that for like 5 minutes, trying to figure out if he's ever going to get it in there. After a while, I was like, that's it. It was on a loop,
Yeah.
It was on a loop. It was the same thing every half a second.
And then when you figure it out, you're like, really?
Like, man, did I just waste 5 minutes of my life?
And they'll do a catch clickbait thing at the beginning. They'll be like, see if you can guess how many times he had to hit this spike to drive it all over.
Exactly. It was something like that.
27, 47, or 99 swings. And you're sitting there counting in your head, and it's one swing.
It's the same thing.
Really?
Is that what y'all watched?
Okay, let me show off my pot of ghee on the way.
Hey, Ghost, is that a glass top you have there?
Yes.
Can you answer us the age-old question of whether you canned or not on that?
I have never canned on anything other than a glass top stove, and I have.
So there you go. I've had that question asked so many times, but could not really answer it because I've never had a glass top stove.
like when I first started canning, I had a glass top stove, and I went through 3 of them at 3 different locations until I moved here. I've never had an issue, knock on wood.
Outstanding. I'm really glad I asked that question then.
I don't slide the canner. Like, I gently place it on there and I load it, and then when I'm done, I pick it straight up. I don't slide it on the glass or anything.
Yeah, give me a second. I hear my cat ringing the doorbell.
Did you tell me how many jars you've canned on glass top? Because it's got to be like thousands, right?
Yeah, I'm well over the 1,000 mark. I'm well over the 1,000 mark, and that's at 7 jars at a time, because my canner only holds 7 quarts at a time. So that's how many. That's
Right.
do the math on how many cycles. I don't know exactly how many jars I have. It's somewhere between. It's somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000. You divide that, yeah, already canned. Now, if you divide that by 7 and then add in another 50 that I've been eating from and relocating through it, that's how many cycles it's been through on a glass top stove. So that's a lot.
That's hard to say because you re-eat too. So
yeah, and reuse. Yeah.
I'm such a baby canner compared to you guys.
Yeah, I'd love it. I loved it. That's why I just wanted to start doing it live and just and make it more fun in the kitchen than me just sitting in here by myself, 12 hours a day on the weekend canning, going, waiting on the timer to go off. I'm like, and everybody asks questions about, well, I've got a canner, but I'm scared. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do a live stream. We'll just do it together. And then, here we are.
Man, look at that. Well, hey, Ghost and ladies and community members, I'm going to go ahead and take off. I just noticed that I'm on a metered network, and if I don't save my data, I won't have data for my live streams.
Understood. Why?
That's one of the costs that you take when you live in a rural area where you don't have internet connection, because everything I do is off of my phone's hotspot. So I was just like, you know what? I do need to conserve some of my data before the end of the month. But you know what? I am happy that I stayed to at least see Virginia finishers. That's awesome. You ought to post some pictures of your finished product on your community page.
Absolutely.
That way your community members can post some pictures as well if they send them to you. But look at that. Isn't that pretty? That is pretty awesome. Very nice.
That's awesome, Virginia.
Very nice, Virginia. That is perfect. That is perfect.
Well, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for stopping by. I mean, I know you said you stopped for a few minutes. It's 2 hours. 2 hours have gone by, and
I thank you for inviting me. I honestly and truly had a blast. This was a lot of fun, getting to know you and getting to know the ladies here, and of course, hanging out with your community members. Oh, look at that, Lady Hammer. Hello, how are you? And I think I seen Caribbean House in here as well, Emily.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you're in good hands here.
Well, you've got an open invitation to pop in on us anytime.
Well, thank you, man. So you do this every Saturday?
I believe we are going to be doing it every Saturday.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, man, hey, thanks again for inviting me. I really did have a great time. All right, we'll talk to you all later, and you all have a safe weekend. All right, happy Memorial Day as well. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't do anything stupid. All right. All right. God bless you guys. All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Hey.
Bye.
Oh.
Well, that was fun. I'm almost there, guys. Almost there.
All right, my foam is just now starting to clump together where I'm making solids, so they should start falling now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I really do notice that, like, once it gets towards the end, instead of just like tiny bubbles of foam, they start to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But after I burnt that one batch, I got really nervous turning up.
Susanna, you still here? Everybody left us.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. You got to say something at least every 5 or 10 minutes. Your voice is soothing.
I told Rudy bye.
Okay.
Have you decided what you're going to do next weekend, Ghost?
No, I was asking you guys, what do y'all want to do? Milkmaid said something like a meal in a jar, like maybe like a spaghetti or chili or a beef stew or a soup or something like that. What do you guys want to do?
I don't know. I was thinking about doing like a meat, just keep it simple and then gradually go up to meals.
Okay.
Probably smarter.
Like you guys want me to just put like a thing up in the community post and do like a poll to see who wants to do what? Or
Yeah, that's a good idea.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll do some different meats and some different stuff, like, you know, even like say potatoes or, you know, something, you know, and then work up to the big meals. So we could do like ground beef or chicken again, or potatoes or whatever, ham, anything. I don't care. We'll do it.
Yeah, simple sounds good because, I mean, otherwise you're trying to put together ingredients and things like that. But if everybody gets used to doing the simple things, then they can move on to, you know, starting to make real whole meals.
Yeah. Emily, can you hook Prep Forward up? She's looking for a... Oh, you want to come on the panel? My bad. Hold tight. I got you.
I'm trying to find a comment. I finally figured out how to see comments.
You know, earlier I said I was doing 16 pounds. I have to correct myself. I felt like an Uber. It was 7 pounds, not 16. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was going to do 12, but I stopped at 10. I was like, yeah, 10's good. I got tired. Honestly, I just got tired unwrapping the butter.
Yeah. I was thinking I did not tell everybody that.
I did 6.5.
Oh, you can tell Sandra my ghee just popped at me too. Not big.
Ooh.
But it will do that, I think.
Yeah, you can actually see the solids start to stick to your spoon now when I'm stirring it.
Yeah, that's what's happening to mine.
Yeah. Hey, Tasha.
Hey!
Hey, that was amazing. That was so cool that Rudy got to come over here on your chat. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, I mean, I emailed him a couple days ago, and it's the first time I've ever talked to him. I just sent him an email because I was going to mention his name because I was using like his recipe, and I just out of respect, I didn't want him to think I was like copying from him, or I didn't want people in the community to think this is my recipe, you know. And he responded back to the email, and he's like, "Well, why don't you just send me the link and I'll pop in and say hello?" And I'm like, "Awesome." You know,
that is so cool.
Like, wow.
That is.
He's like, I'll pop in and say hello for a couple minutes. I can't stay long, but I'll say hello. I'm like, awesome. And he stayed for 2 hours. I was like, sweet.
That was awesome. I'm so sorry I was late. I stopped in when y'all went live, but then I was torn because our friends had this thing going on at their house, and I was like, oh, I gotta go over there too. So I was like, we're leaving early. I told my husband, I said, we're leaving early so I can get over there and watch Ghost still.
I just dropped the link again if anybody else wants to hop up here. You ain't got to be Canon. You can just come up and hang out with us.
Come on, y'all. Yeah, Tasha, I left my family reunion thing. I had to milk the cow anyhow. But I was like,
oh, that's fun.
I was like, well, I gotta milk the cow, so.
Well, you know, I mean, how many people can say they had an opportunity to can on a live stream with Alaska Prepper? You know, that's.
I just heard it pop.
Once in a lifetime thing.
Right? I thought that was, well, see, I had decided to do that before I found out Alaska Prepper was, everybody know, it wasn't.
Right.
Well, see, I wasn't going to tell you guys because he told me he was just going to pop in and say hello. I was just going to, hey, we got a guest, and just drop him up in the panel and freak everybody out. But then Gardner Josh is like, hey, you know, AP just shouted you out on his live stream yesterday and told everybody he's coming over to your channel. I'm like, what? So I went back and watched his live, and he's like, yeah, we're going to go make Ghee over at Ghost channel tomorrow at 8 o'clock. You know, y'all come check it out. And then all of a sudden my subscribers jumped up by like 35 or 40 people. And I was like, well, I might as well tell everybody since he told everybody, you know. So
yeah, I saw that.
I think your special guest is going to be Jason.
Hey everybody, I've got a. Sorry, am I?
Yeah.
Is that me? Okay.
Y'all want to see the bubbles? Y'all want to see where the Ghee is at? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Everybody's echoing.
It is.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead and show us the milkmaid.
Oh, okay. It's echoing.
Who's got the echo? Hello.
Try music.
Here,
Hello.
I can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it go away?
Hello. Nope. Check.
How about now?
What in the world?
Still hear it.
Hold on. Let me try.
Hello?
You're not echoing. I'm echoing.
Still echo.
All right, now it stopped. No, it didn't.
Hey, Tribe.
Oh, did Tribe jump in? Hey, Tribe.
What's up? What is this? All right, I'm on mute. I'm on mute. Me and stop.
Hello.
Can't hear you guys. Try unmuting your cell phone.
I don't.
Is there an echo?
Yeah,
It's me.
I think it's you, Ghost.
If you unmute your cell phone, you got to mute your StreamYard on your desktop.
What if we talk and then drop back to it?
It might work.
That is like beyond weird.
Echo.
All right, is that better? What is going on? It just I'll start echoing.
That's weird. Like it just started all of a sudden.
I removed my phone from the phone.
The Ghee gods are angry.
All right, I'm gonna leave and come back in.
Okay.
Oh,
Now is there an echo?
no echo. It was Ghost.
Yes.
John T. McGill goes, "Help inspired me to clean my kitchen. Everybody got a clean kitchen but me." That's only the part you can see. Notice I don't do a whole 360.
Oh my. That was just so cool. I wish I would have been here for the whole dang thing.
Is that better?
Yes.
What? That makes no sense. It started echoing on its own.
It's just weird.
The ghost effect.
Wow. It was the ghost of ghosts. That's a good one, Hawkeye.
There you go.
Yeah, just ridiculous.
I loved Bug Dude's comment saying that Alaska was Miyagi.
Yeah, I
was
know
our
that.
Oh, that was
Miyagi.
great.
That was so clever. I was thinking, yes, Sensei.
Kim Farm Homestead, if you're just doing like a small batch, like if you're just doing a pound to put in the fridge to last you a week or so, you don't really need to strain anything off. According to Miyagi, it's not really going to be a bad thing. I mean, I'm going to strain mine because I'm putting up like 10 jars worth. I'm going to strain it, but if I was just doing like a small batch, I would just make sure to really let it cook down and not scratch the bottom. And I wouldn't care if there was like some solids in it. But for long-term storage, I'm gonna strain it just because I bought cheese cloth.
I'm going to grab Lady Hammer's question. She says she started canning butter beans. Yes, when you pressure drop to 8, you need to get it back up and start your timer over again.
Ah.
Yeah, if your pressure drops below, yeah, you gotta completely start all over again.
And Laura asked exactly how long.
I don't mean to come all the way down and take everything out. I mean, turn the heat back up, repressurize it, and start your timer over.
Laura wants to know how long Ghee lasts.
Forever.
So my husband just asked me to save the what do you call it, the crumbs or whatever, and dehydrate it so he can put it on his popcorn.
Oh, yum.
That's a good idea too.
Oh, on his popcorn, you said?
Yeah, dehydrate it and turn it into a powder and put it on his popcorn.
That's a great idea.
Sandra, you ticked who off? Who did you tick off? Look back in the chat.
I love to see the cat when I'm on the laptop, but I can't. I don't think. Hey, Tasha.
Yes.
So, how do you respond back to people? Do you pull up YouTube and and then mute it?
Yeah. Like I just did. Like I keep it closed unless I see something that I need to respond to, and then either I tell them or I pull it up on YouTube. That's what I was going back to see.
Well, like on your phone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just mute. I have my phone muted, so if I pull up the app for some reason, it's muted. I mean, I mess up sometimes, but yeah, that's normally what I do.
Yeah. Oh, Discover Sustainable. You asked. You said you burned your ghee before. What did it look like? It just looked like, instead of being like a light toasty brown or yellow on the bottom, and you can see it on the bottom. But when I was cooking it, it started to really like dark, and it was a very small amount, and it got like a deep brown before I could stop it. And my ghee just
it goes fast when it does burn, doesn't it?
Laura,
it goes
I got
what?
mine. Oh, sorry.
It goes fast, like it can burn really quickly. You got to make sure and keep it at a pretty low temp, don't you?
Yeah. What did Bug Dude say?
Laura, I got my cheesecloth. I just ordered it off of Amazon because I also ordered wax so I can start waxing some cheese. But I'm pretty sure you can just get it at Walmart.
I got wax at Ace Hardware.
Nice.
And y'all, I don't know if you've seen Discover Sustainable on live chats or whatever, but I posted on my community page. She was on at the beginning of my late night live stream last night, and she is incredible. Her name's Nina. She is incredible. She does homesteading and cooking, canning, stuff like that. So if anybody's interested, go check out her channel.
Did you post her link?
On my community page, I did.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I never see your lives because you're.
Well, yeah, you get up so early, girl. I know. I understand. It's okay.
So I have to and plus this week and probably next week too. I'm just not going to be very active just because I'm going to be so busy.
Check this
Yeah.
out.
Understandable.
You got your ghee?
Yeah, I want to show you the. I'm kind of scared to bring you back in on my phone. Let's see if it echoes or not. Is that echoing? Cool. Check this out. I want to show you you can actually see the solids falling out of my butter.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
The first time I made ghee, I watched it nonstop the entire time.
I got to tell you guys, I thought this would be like a quick, easy. This is actually like more fun than doing the pressure canning the beans. This is actually pretty cool. Doing the ghee.
It is cool.
That's fun.
It's
Ooh,
all fun though.
We can also wax cheese live too. If you guys want to preserve some cheese, I got like about 12 pounds in the fridge. I want to dip and preserve. I'm gonna watch a couple more videos. Rudy's got a really good video on doing the cheese. I'm gonna watch his again before I do it.
Now, what cheeses would you wax? Hard cheeses?
Yeah, I'm doing mild cheddar because it's going to sharpen up in the preservation process. What temp you out your style? Right now it's on. I have a double burner. Like the burner it's sitting on, it gets super hot super fast. It's got two burners in it, inner rings and outer rings. But like when I pressure can, once I get it to pressure, within 20 minutes of it being at sustained pressure, I pretty much dial it back down to between 1 and 2, sometimes even low. And right now I've got it on a little below 1 right now, and that's where it's been for an hour. It's got a good simmer.
Jess is jarring. Be Charming wants to know if you can put Jess on the big screen so that we can see her ghee.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, where are you at?
Right here. I'm on green screen.
Oh, Jess jumped ahead of me. She's already jarring it up.
Yeah, she's been jarring.
Yeah, but I didn't get quite as many as I thought. I guess I really miscounted. It's all right.
Not a problem. Since you canned like 317 pounds of butter just now.
Yeah.
When you said that, I went, what? How much? Well, you got a cow in the backyard? Like you said 17 pounds, and I looked at the pot on the stove, and I'm like, you got 17 pounds of butter?
With everything that's been going on with me in my personal life, everything's completely off. My counting, my thinking. So I got 5 pints. So I must have done 5 pounds. Do you notice though, does anybody else know that when you can in wide mouth, it seems like you put more in a regular pint? Or is that just me?
No, I think, like, I know the jars are like taller, but they're not as wide. The regular mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, go. Sandra says it's boiling. Now what?
You got to let it rock and roll until it turns almost clear and all the solids drop out.
Stirring frequently, right?
Yeah. Oh, she's talking about hers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a rolling boil, Sandra. You want it to be like a simmer, and it'll just because it's going to start out making a lot of foam, and you don't want it to foam over. So keep stirring it, and keep adjusting your heat if you need to. But you want it to you got to play with it during the boiling. That's what I had to do because I was making a lot of bubbles at first, just like I did, just like Virginia Roots did, and I'm sure Jess had that same thing when she was doing it, and the milkmaid. But once the bubbles start to get bigger, and then it won't be a rolling boil. It'll just be like a simmer, like bubbles, like right in the middle of the pot, and you'll start seeing the butter get more and more clear, and then you'll see the solids forming, this little chunks of goodness floating around, and they'll start to settle to the bottom. So you don't want to, while you're stirring it, you don't want to scrape the bottom. And then once it quits making steam, that shows you that all the water is out of it. So then you can go ahead and start jarring it up. At least that's what
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, Nina with Discover Sustainable says 5 pints is still awesome at Keto Homestead with Jez.
Thank you.
Kim's Farmstead asks, "What does it matter what pot you use?"
I'm just using a stainless steel stock pot.
Yeah.
And then John T. McGill says, "Now, does that ghee solidify into lard?"
Oh, I mean, it gets hard, once it cools, but it's not lard.
Right.
Yeah, lard is pork fat. Ghee is cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'm glad I decided not to do the pressure canning. I'd be up all night long.
Right. Same thing.
But I mean, I spent the first 20 minutes of the live stream sitting here talking. I didn't even have my stove on, melting my butter. I'm like, man. I looked up at the screen and I see Virginia's already melted. I'm like, crap, I forgot to turn the stove on. So I just kind of quietly stood up and whatever and turned it on. Come and sat back down. I'm like, here we go. I got 10 pounds of butter in there. I'm waiting on it to melt.
Well, at least Virginia was able to get her ghee done before Alaska had to hop off. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Virginia smoked it. That's 2 weeks in a row she's getting a participation award.
I know. She's awesome.
Somebody that's never before. I mean, Jesus, she blew it out of the water.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, let me get her back in here. Is she in the? Where is she?
I think she hopped off.
There she is.
There.
Okay, I'm gonna hop off because I'm not feeling well, and I'll just show pictures later.
Okay, sweetheart. I hope you feel better.
All right.
See you in a while, Susanna.
Bye.
Bye, Susanna.
Bye.
How far are you away from jarring it up, Milkmaid?
Well, close call. I heard a pop, and I walked over to look, and it looked a little browner, so I pulled it off real fast. And I think we're almost exactly there. Like bottom, the bubbles aren't really big yet because I pulled it off because I was scared I was burning it.
Okay. Yeah, mine's looking good. I still got a ways to go.
Yeah.
Jess, yours looks so pretty.
Thank you.
Yes, girl. We did about the same amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm really excited. I've got more in the fridge. I pulled out a bunch today and then I put some back and I'm like, oh, maybe I should. I don't know. So I ended up, I guess, with 5. I thought it was more, but.
Jess, did you use vinegar to clean the tops of your jars?
No, I forgot. Dang it. Thanks for the reminder.
I did wipe mine with vinegar. If anyone saw the paper towel action, I had a little vinegar on that. And then tightened it really tight, like Alaska Prepper said.
Yeah.
Hi, Arkwild.
Thanks, Stanley.
I cannot believe I forgot that step.
Ark Wildman, what's going on? Is Prepper Tribe still here? Him and Niece here? Did they take off?
And you know, the vinegar
They're gone, guys.
paper towel is sitting right here.
You can thank Hoot Owl for that, Jessica.
Thank you.
Oh, Sandra, I see what you said there. The Ghee gods. Okay, that's who you ticked off. Oh, that's hilarious. I missed it, I guess, on here.
Thank you, Stanley, by the way. Sandra, please let us know how you're doing. I did hear earlier that you had you got coated a little bit with the butter experiment. So please keep us posted, Sandra. I have been watching chat a tiny bit, but let us know.
She rubbed dirt on it and got back in. She cleaned herself up and started a new batch. She's got it boiling right now.
Yeah.
Got it boiling right now.
Good for you, Sandra. Keep going, girl.
She's a rock star because she just cleaned up and started over.
Yep. That's good. That's what it's all about. We're not going to do it perfect the first time every time, especially when we're just learning. I'm curious how many other people are going with us. I really couldn't see chat earlier. So Sandra and Susanna, anyone else is going?
I see at least 4 people.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
I ordered a crazy long Ethernet cord so that I could run it from my box all the way into the kitchen. So maybe next weekend I can with you.
Yeah, I went to the basement and hooked the one from my basement, brought it out my basement door, around up through the porch into the back door and wired it in. I got like 2 50-foot cables. I got super long ones so I could hardwire it in because last week was rough.
Yeah, I ordered 100-foot one, long one, so it can go because my kitchen's the far opposite end of the house where my box is.
Klingon's making ghee right now.
Yeah.
Klingon.
Put your phone on and get up here and join us. I ain't going anywhere.
Right.
Not anytime. I still got butter to make. Or excuse
For
me.
sure. You can just show us the butter. You don't have to be on if you don't want.
Angela's got 12 pints in her canner. She's canning hers.
Oh,
they're
excellent.
getting their Ghee on.
Mm-hmm.
Is she canning them?
Yeah, she's canning hers. I think my next batch I'm gonna pressure can them. I think next time I'm gonna do like about 25 or 30 pounds of butter, and I'm gonna pressure can them for super long storage and just put them away somewhere, and then just keep doing it. I'm gonna rotate through this batch probably like on every month for about a pound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just to keep the fresh ghee, but then like super long term store some.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now that I see how easy it is, I'll make me some Ghee too.
You know what's crazy is how easy it is for like a 1 pound thing. Like it's like 15 minutes. When I did my first batch, I was like, are you kidding me? That's how much they charge in the store just to boil it? Like, really?
Yeah.
I was pissed.
Hey, here comes Klingon.
Woo!
Look at there.
Beautiful.
And this is this part's for Susanna, our milkmaid, my dirty stove.
Oh, bless you.
Oh yeah.
See, I love going to some.
So pretty.
So, is it getting there?
Yep.
That's awesome. Angela says that she did 7 quarts of quail. I've never canned quail yet.
Oh wow. I've eaten quail eggs, but I haven't eaten quail.
I'm excited to do rabbit for the first time.
Yeah, rabbit's really good too.
I actually think I'm gonna do a live stream because I'm gonna breed them. I'm shooting for June the 6th. That's D-Day. D-Day, the actual real D-Day. anniversary. Plus, it'll be D-Day because it'll be the first time I'm breeding these rabbits. I thought it'd be kind of ironic to do it on D-Day. But what I'm thinking is, I might just do a live stream and show the breeding of the rabbit, like live.
I'll be a short live stream.
That'd be neat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, right? But actually, I think I'm just going to video it, and it'll be like a what do you call it? It'll be like a meat rabbit update. But I'll probably do it like maybe like a members only, like a member perk thing to like show the actual behind the scenes process. I'm still trying to figure out a bunch of cool stuff to do with that, so it's going to be. I'm excited about the whole members deal. It's pretty cool. It's like confusing. It's a lot of extra work, but I think it'll be worth it in the long run.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're
hadn't
doing
decided
that,
whether I'm
honestly.
going to do it whenever I get there. I'm sorry. There's a delay here. Did not mean to interrupt.
I want to address what
sorry.
Sandra said up in the chat. She said that she had the biggest fail award. You didn't fail, Sandra. That's just a learning thing, and you will not do that again. It's a mistake that it's not a fail.
Yeah.
Nope.
A fail is doing what I did and forgetting to turn the stove on while you're talking to Rudy, the Alaskan prepper, about how you clean. That's a failure.
Or
Fail is not putting the heat on.
or forgetting to wipe the rims on your jars.
A fail is
happened.
when you
I
give
believe
up.
I don't think they're failures, but if you want to call it a failure, just fail forward. Like you don't learn.
There
any
you
other
go.
way.
I tried my best to play it off. You know, hers is just rocking and rolling, you know, halfway to Ghee, and mine's still ice cold, sitting in the cold pot. I'm like, crap. Hang on.
I meant to do
I was
that.
wondering.
I meant to do
You're
that.
super big burner.
I had to redeem myself from last week, so I came in first this week, last week. I think it's a win.
Dude, you didn't come in last week. You literally had to stop, take your canner apart, put it back together, start over, and you finished. So yeah, you rocked it last
Yeah.
week. I'm starting to get
Thank
jealous.
you.
Where'd Milkmaid go?
Definitely. Probably internet. She'll probably pop back on. She has issues and has to pop out and back in.
Yeah.
A failure was my first marriage, huh? Prepper 101. Oh my gosh.
Virginia. Isn't that sweet? Angela says, Ghost, look at the bright side. You showed up on time.
Excuse me.
Right?
All right. It's bubbling. What happens now?
Girl, that looks perfect. Keep it at that simmer and don't stir up whatever lands on the bottom. But for me, I agitated the top a little bit every now and again. Just don't stir the bottom of the pot. Let it all set down there.
That is so funny. Yeah, I made it on time today. Made it on time.
Congratulations.
That is funny.
Thank
He learned how
you.
to settle the
So
alarm.
yeah, we want to make Susanna feel a little more better.
Yeah.
I freaking burnt it.
Oh, hang on. Let me go big screen.
No, Milkmaid. That's a beautiful
Oh,
golden color. That's a
You see?
beautiful golden color.
Let's see.
No, that's
You don't
perfect.
think so?
Yes.
I think it's good.
Well,
Keep
look.
Yes.
It's just nutty.
No?
It's just going to have
No,
more of a
that's
nutty
beautiful.
flavor,
Oh, I
Rudy said.
It'll just be more of a
Oh.
nutty
But the
flavor.
foam is still there.
It still looks
Look,
good.
wow, I do not like
Yeah.
big screen.
I think it looks great. My
Yeah?
foam got a little bit of color tinge to it as well. I think that looks beautiful golden.
Well, I think it looks just
Well,
like
I
mine.
thought I
Hang on.
burnt it.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on.
No.
Let me show you mine. Tell me what this looks like.
Oh,
Does it
well,
does it smell burned, Milkmaid?
it has a slightly nuttier smell, though. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, mine
well, the
mine was
darker
nutty,
will
but
give it
was
nutty.
good. Yeah. Don't worry about the nuttiness,
Okay.
girl.
Well,
Yeah,
Well, we all know I'm a little nuts, so.
Right. we're all mad down here.
Oh shoot, the Mad Hatter.
The Mad
The Tea
Hatter,
Party.
that's right. Yep.
Yeah, we're the Tea Party.
Oh, wait, it was the
Just the
Cheshire.
candy
Was
party.
it the Cheshire Cat or the Mad Hatter? It might have been the Cheshire
Mad
Cat.
Hatter and the rabbit. What's the
Yeah.
rabbit?
The mouse.
looks like
The tea mouse.
Hers looks gorgeous.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Sorry.
Got
I just
your
switched my
poopsie.
phone 'cause my laptop is stupid. All right. Well, then I might just skim this real quick and jar it up. Is that all right?
Yep.
I'm gonna let mine go a
right,
little bit
now-
longer.
Now I'm gonna have to buy up a bunch of butter whenever I go to town for my grocery shopping tomorrow.
Yep. Whenever it's on clearance, that's when you get it. Or if
Well,
you
I
have a birthday coming up, ask for butter for your birthday like I did. I got 20 pounds for my birthday.
From where? Oh, from
My
from
family.
people, friends. That
I
works.
told my family I wanted butter for my birthday. I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and so I told my siblings and my mom, I was like, hey, I don't want anything special. I just want butter for my birthday. And I got 20 pounds of butter.
Are the people from the insane asylum coming to your door to knock anytime now, or what?
yeah. And those people are me. So I don't know.
So see, I get that though, because practical gifts make they make my heart swell, right? I
Yep.
love getting
Me
something that I
too.
wanted to get. Ooh, I almost said his name. Shoot. My husband asked me what I wanted for my anniversary, and I told him I wanted a dump truck load of horse manure.
Yes.
Like,
There you go.
you know,
Rock on.
I think that's practical.
You know, after
See, I'm
watching
the
Hook
same way.
Homestead,
Hey, not to interrupt you guys, but I think Klingon Princesses is done, if I'm not wrong. What do you guys think?
well, let's see. Stop stirring for just a sec so we can see. Yeah, it's looking close.
big
Any more
bubbles.
foam or steam?
don't see
That
any
was
more
the thing.
steam.
Steam. Yeah. Girl, it looks good.
I don't see any steam.
Yeah,
Was
it's-
anything else?
No, I don't
I-
see
I
steam,
don't.
and the foam is gone.
I haven't seen steam the whole time.
I just don't want her to burn it. I think it's done, Klingon.
Yeah. Yeah. Just do your best to keep the solids, the little tiny bit of foam that's still at the top when
It
you
smells good.
pull it out. But that looks really, really good.
Yeah, you can skim off the solids that or the foam that's on the top, skimming them off, and then you can start
Yeah.
canning it, jarring it.
When I did mine, it collected around the side of the pot somewhat, and I kind of scraped it up and like pulled it up the side of the pot as
That
it
is-
hardened.
That's gorgeous. Did you see her drizzle that out of that spoon? It's clear,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's so funny. We're all excited about butter and food. I love this group. I
My
finally found my
husband-
people.
My husband, when we first got married, he would like do flowers and stuff, and I'm like, I'm that girl that if you get me something that's going to make my life easier, like a new vacuum cleaner, a crock pot, a new toaster, whatever it is like that makes my day-to-day life easier, I'm all about it.
100%.
But now for our 30th anniversary, he did get me these, and they are real. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, we lost Klingon. Oh no, girl.
Oh,
Oh no.
I missed it. What'd you get?
They're real.
Oh, pretty.
Yes.
Y'all.
Gorgeous.
But that was our 30th, normally we don't do jewelry, and most of the time we don't even get each other anything for gifts, as far as birthdays or Valentine or anything, because we just, when we're needing something, we just get get it then, you know. We don't typically wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're kind of the same way. Like we used to do all the like cards for every occasion and stuff like that, but cards have gotten expensive. And finally, we looked at each other. We're like, we're spending $20 every holiday on something that we just scribble a note in. You know, let's just do something different with that.
Aloha.
Hey,
Hawaii Volcano Squad. Aloha, hanaho.
yes, aloha. Diamond's still our girl's best friend. Although, you know, with the price of these, I could have gotten a heck a lot of canning jars and lids.
She's like, that's 20 cases of canning jars. What are you doing?
Food storage, that would have been a good amount of food storage. I'm just
Okay,
Oh
I'm
my
trying
goodness.
to figure out if this is a bad idea, if fairy hit me or not.
Yeah.
But should I just pour it?
Well, do you have cheesecloth?
I
Are you
mean,
gonna
yeah,
strain
I also have a
it?
strainer.
If you have like a
this strainer's pretty
5-quart,
fine.
you know, like a Pyrex measuring cup, if you have like a 6-cup one of those, then pour it in that and then pour it from there.
Good
always
idea,
drizzle
Virginia.
more.
Good idea, Virginia.
Thank you. Sometimes I bring it to the table.
There you go.
I think
Virginia, bring
I think it's outside from when my husband butchered the hog yesterday. So.
Oh,
no. Cool.
Oh, beautiful.
She's got
Girl,
a really
that's
nice
beautiful.
strainer too. Yes. That looks so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. It was easy.
Yep.
Right?
There you go, girl. Now I'm gonna have to get my ghee on.
Mm-hmm. Getting geeing with it.
Getting ghee with it.
That's right. Sometimes we're getting geeing with it. Sometimes we're getting geeing with it.
Ooh, that's hot.
Oh wow, that
Ghee
looks
makes
good.
me giddy. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
I said ghee makes me giddy.
Oh,
Instead of
that's a
giddy,
good one.
Giddy.
Girl makes me giddy. Ghee makes me giddy.
Makes me giddy.
Doc P, we are
Golden
all
girl
very
goes.
young women. We are not golden girls. We are young, beautiful women, sir.
Oh, speak for yourself. I'm getting up there.
Hey, I'm getting up there too.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm thinking about whenever Blanche thought she was pregnant, and I'm like, that woman already went through the change 15 years ago. Don't be lying.
I remember that episode. Because she was hanging with that boyfriend. Yeah. I think the funniest one I ever saw is when one of them went into a drugstore and asked for prophylactics, and they did it over the loudspeaker. They were like, which aisle are the prophylactics, please? And it was like for Rose or something, and it was like, oh no.
Virginia, Doc P said golden refers to the ghee, not golden girls.
Oh, dang, Doc P. Yes, all right,
funny.
all right. I'll take that.
Hockey says I'm going to manufacture a ghee string.
That's so funny. A Ghee string, like a G string.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, us and our puns, really?
Yeah. Yep. It'll be ghost G strings. Klingon, that's beautiful.
That is gorgeous. Gorgeous, I tell ya.
Oh, she has one of those awesome
Nice.
trainers too. Heck
Yeah,
yes.
I'm so
girl.
proud. You guys give good directions.
Oh my gosh, Prepper 101.
Golden shower. You guys are hilarious, dude. You guys are hilarious.
Oh my word.
There's the milkmaid.
Hey, girl.
There she
I
is again.
just heard that joke, man.
Oh,
Oh, Klingon,
that's
wow.
beautiful, Klingon.
Yeah.
How's it look? Yeah?
Yeah,
I'm hoping I got all the water out of it.
yours looks really good too.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not as brown as it looked in the bottom of the pot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So nice. Milkmaid, I can see your golden footage over there.
Let's see yours on the big screen.
Golden footage?
Yes, it looks
Beautiful
so good.
golden Ghee footage.
Yeah, she's a golden girl.
Let's
Chelsea,
see.
instead of calling me Gigi can call me Gigi.
Yeah, right now it's no longer giggity, it's giggity.
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 Everybody gets slap happy at about this point in the live stream.
Yeah. That's all
Oh
right.
my gosh. We get all goofy. What is people taking some gummies or having a little swiggy every now and again?
No, you know, it's like it's the high of accomplishing something. It's like, you know what?
so,
That's
it
something you've never done before, and there's a rush to that. Ooh, Klingon, girl.
Y'all are going to be carrying a jar of Ghee around. Look at my Ghee. Look at my Ghee.
Look at
Isn't it pretty?
I'm an OG.
As I was putting it in my jars, I was wanting to drink it.
Oh, gee, look at Biggie.
Oh, it looks so
man.
good.
Awesome job, Klingon. And by the way, Sandra, where are you at, girl? If you can hear me, or how are you doing, Sandra?
Okay. Yay, thank you guys.
I'm so excited for you, Klingon. Yay.
Good job. That looks so good.
Oh, Ghost is jarring his up.
Now I'm going to dehydrate the solids.
Good idea. That'd be awesome. Night,
Actually,
Stuart.
Oh, it's Stuart leaving? Good night, Stuart. When I was finished with mine, I did scrape it into a bowl. I didn't scrape the bottom of the pot too much just to not get anything bitter. And I made a piece of toast. I added garlic salt, just like Alaska Prepper said. And that residue on the very bottom, it almost tastes like farmer's cheese. It's really good. Like it's super thick. It's like a little bit of a curd to it. But I highly recommend if anyone's doing this, like put a little bit of that with some garlic salt on a piece of toast, make it a cracker. It was so delicious, so cheesy almost.
Making me hungry, y'all. And I just got back from a day cookout.
That's what we
ate
do.
Fried catfish.
Yeah, something every day.
Yep.
Okay, so Milkmaid she's getting them. There we go. Yes, Milkmaid. So is Ghost.
Christopher, I'm in northeastern Ohio.
Milkmaid, that looks perfect. That's absolutely beautiful color. Oh wait, Milkmaid's not there. That's Ghost. That's Ghost second camera.
I thought it was
like,
that's funny. I was like, wait, who is that? My bad.
I was like, is my internet messing up?
No, it's just me. She was up there.
I'm gonna have to refresh a second.
Okay, so Ghost looks really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Virginia's good at everything she does. I'm jealous.
Oh, girl, I mess up big, but then it's about recovery.
Mm.
You get solar power.
Oh, wow, Ghost.
HBS, they're going to use it for cooking. So pancakes,
Yep.
putting over popcorn, melted and put it over popcorn, waffles, cakes, whatever you'd normally use butter for, they're going to use ghee.
Or also
And it's got
anything you might use olive oil. You can saute in it. It's basically clarified butter, so you could warm it up and dip crab legs or shrimp or anything like a fried egg. Just and you don't need as much of it because the oil is super concentrated, so you don't need a huge amount. It's like a concentrated, really good fat.
Mm. And it's got a higher flash point, right?
Yep. I think Alaska Prepper said around 380 or 390 degrees. A lot of oils flash points are around 300 degrees, and that means that they're going to start smoking black, and they could even catch on fire at about that point. But something like ghee is much, much higher, and so it can take that heat a lot better.
And as Nina with Discover Sustainable said, this is shelf stable. So it's great for long-term storage.
Laura, it stays pretty thick. It's not necessarily going to get as hard as a stick of butter. It might not get as oily as some olive oil. It'll be kind of in between because you're taking out all of the solids and all of the things that would cause it to become that hard again. So it's still going to have a medium viscous texture.
Ghost, did you wipe your rims? Okay. Who Al was asking?
Yeah.
Keeping us on our toes. Who now?
And again, guys, if all else fails, make sure you have your little list. And as you're rewatching this, make your list, your checklist, and then just follow those steps, and you won't forget anything. Excuse me. I've been staying up way too late. Yes, Be Charming, that was a dehydrator. She's putting the solids that were at the bottom of the pan in her dehydrator, and she's going to dehydrate them.
Now, my husband's already eaten on that, and he says it's way too salty to be dehydrated. Yeah, he said it's way too salty.
Oh, really? That's probably where all the salt falls to the bottom with the...
Right, and I also used salted and unsalted, so that could have made it worse too.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to see more of Ghost's finished product.
I know.
I know.
Oh, that looks so good. It's nice and clear.
Yeah, they do have powdered butter. But Ghee has a different flavor. Oh, that's beautiful, Ghost. Ooh, looky there.
Wow. What is Klingon? Klingon, what do you have going on there?
They're mushrooms that I grew.
Wow.
Oh, you dehydrated them?
What kind of mushrooms?
John, if you
These are pink oyster mushrooms and white oyster mushrooms. Super fun.
John,
Disabled
if you
and
use
prepping.
unsalted butter. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished.
That's okay.
John was
I'm
saying
done. I'm
he
done.
okay, John was just saying that he has to avoid salt. You can use unsalted butter. You don't have to make ghee with salted butter.
The milkmaid, post a picture on Ghost Community tab or your community tab so we can see it. She said that she just canned up her ghee.
Yes, milkmaid, please show.
Share it.
Yeah, for sure, John. If you have to avoid salt, just use unsalted, and that pretty much takes care of that. Agreed, Bug dude. I see you. It could be a good side hustle because this stuff is expensive, and what it costs to. So that pint of ghee was roughly a pound of butter, which is roughly $3, and it would cost you roughly $10, $12, $15 to buy it. So absolutely. And you don't have to use as much, which justifies some of the cost of it. Klingon, yes, glad you had a ball.
Yeah, it was awesome.
You did a beautiful job, Klingon.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome is people coming up on the panel to show us they're doing it too. Like, that's super exciting.
It is. And it's nice to meet people. Some of these folks never pop on and they're like, hey, I was doing it with you. So Klingon, thank you so much. And anyone else, Sandra, have we heard from Sandra yet?
I haven't seen anything else from her.
Well, Sandra, if you can hear us, it'd be cool to get an update. And anyone else that I'm forgetting that was working on it, Susanna, as well. If anyone has like an update on it. But I agree, like the interactive participation is really cool. And it gives people confidence because they're not alone, even if we're just kind of streaming over this. I think it gives people that extra oomph to try it. I probably wouldn't have tried it today if I didn't have to come here and do it with everybody. So
yeah, and like Ghost said earlier, it's so much fun canning with somebody else than to just can in your kitchen by yourself. Like,
for sure,
much better.
It is, and it's fun to kind of laugh at the little follies and kind of get into the process of it. And hey, what do you think I do right here? Like, yeah, I love it. I love it. I would have been very, very concerned doing it the first time. I wouldn't have known some of the little questions that we had last week with not touching the jiggler or a little bit of steam here and there in places it shouldn't be, or whatever. Like having that live question and answer thing is oh, I see Sandra.
I see her.
Good foam going. Keep rocking, girl. Keep that simmer going.
It's awesome. I'm so glad that she went and just restarted it.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Oh, what does Ghost have? I think, did he have 6 or 7 pints, I think? 6, 7, 8?
I'm not sure.
Big stock pot. Oh!
He had a lot.
Wow.
10.
10. Wow.
I actually let mine go a little bit longer because when Rudy said that nutty flavor, I'm like, That sounds like I want to try that.
Yeah.
That might go a little bit longer.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Milkmaid. Welcome back.
Oh, Alaska Prepper, welcome back. Milkmaid and Ghost just got themselves jarred up.
Look at the bottom of this pan.
Oh, my internet sucks. Sorry, guys. Oh,
Nice.
hold on.
Perfect. Looks like mine did.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
look
good.
at that.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah, the other camera shows that it's a lot darker, but look how clear that is.
That's very clear. How'd yours turn out,
Well,
Milkmaid?
It turned out all right. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this with my phone. Can y'all see? Okay, let me. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Y'all-
girl.
It's so pretty.
That's like the same color as mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
gorgeous.
It's gonna be a little nuttier, I think, but I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was kind of shooting for it to be a little bit nuttier, so I kind of let it cook a little longer. I let it, after it quit making steam, I let it go for about maybe 5 or 6 more minutes. And then I just off the heat and I let everything kind of settle. And then I charred it up. So we'll see if it all seals. Whew. Man, that was a whole lot more work than I thought it would be.
Right?
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah,
still
well, the initial cooking took a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah. Well, it helps when you turn your stove.
Alaska says, very nice, Ghost.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. I let mine go a little bit longer because when you said it gives it a more nutty flavor, I let it go about 5 or 6 minutes after it stopped steaming. So I'm looking forward to trying it. Where'd Milkmaid go?
Red Burning Fire says they're great.
So who's still cooking? Sandra's still cooking. Klingon got hers done. Canning with attitude.
That's awesome.
Everyone's ghee looks great. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Probably have 120. What is this? Probably have 120, 150 worth of ghee for just the price of the butter and some time. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've got 10 pints and a pint of ghee at the store is what, between $8 and $10. So yeah, at least $80.
Yeah.
Not a problem, Milkmaid.
Yeah, it was fun canning with you, Milkmaid. Thanks for coming up.
Definitely. And happy anniversary.
Yes.
Yes.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, girl.
What's your kind of butter, Laura? What do you mean? So I can use any kind, salted or unsalted. I did salted, but it's going to have a salty taste to it, obviously. That's actually one of the reasons why I went ahead and let it cook longer. I'm figuring maybe if it gets a little bit more of that nutty flavor, it'll kind of hopefully offset the overpowering salt, apparently. But next time I'm just going to can non-salted butter. Or make non-salted butter into ghee. In Costco, ghee costs $18.79 per jar. Holy cow! What size jar is that? That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it is. All right, so I'm about to jump down. I just wanted to show everybody my ghee after, I guess it's been about an hour. So Here are the jars.
Awesome.
And
Beautiful.
it's pretty dark. It's not solidified at all, but it is pretty much cool. And you can see that it got the milky color back.
Yeah.
But it's going to stay pretty liquid. So that is my...
It'll harden up. It'll harden up over the next 24, 48 hours. Because I know a lot of people, they do the canning process, and they keep flipping their jars upside down and jiggling it up for like 24 hours until it gets hard. That way it's kind of moved around. That's a recipe I meant to ask Rudy about, but I forgot.
Right.
But these are people that aren't doing it long-term storage. They're just like making it, and they just keep flipping it over upside down on the counter to keep it mixed up so the solids don't settle. But there shouldn't be very many solids in it. It's ghee.
If Alaska Prepper is still in here, do you recommend that we sort of turn these for a little bit, or not? Yeah.
He didn't do it in either of his videos, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Okay. And also, people are mentioning these jars in the chat. These are pint jars, and I got the short, squatty ones because in my mind, I figure if I'm going to be taking ghee out of a jar with a spoon in order to cook with, that I wanted the wider mouth because it's very oily. It's going to be a little bit messy. I don't want it to drip all over the side. I don't want to have to fight with whatever size spoon that I need to get it in here. So this is the short, wide mouth. These are ball because that's what the local big box store had. But yeah, maybe something like this for doing something that's really oily like ghee, because it's easier to spoon out without making so much of a mess. All right, but I'm going to jump down. I'll be in the chat for a minute, and good times.
Yeah, man, that was fun. Looking forward to next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, I guess, we made it to the exactly 3-hour mark. Everybody got pretty much finished up, except for Sandra. Sandra, make sure you take some pictures, and you're a member, so post them in the community page and or on the community chat or whatever, so we can see how your ghee turned out.
Yeah.
Other than that, we got 54 people in the chat. I want to thank all you guys for hanging out with us for 3 hours. I totally appreciate it. It was a blast. And I'll be in touch this week in the community chat or maybe a video, and we'll decide what it is we're going to do next week, and we will go on from there. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thanks, Tasha. We will see you guys later.
All right, bye.